Erin, happy Friday. Happy December the 1st as well.
Wow, we made it.
I know we are rolling right into Christmas.
There we go.
Absolutely amazing. All
Yep.
right. Is your elf on the shelf this morning?
He arrived early.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
You know, you
Uh,
you 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 have boys that are misbehaving a little bit. You put in a little word with Santa and ask if he can
ah,
show up a little bit earlier. Yeah.
yes.
hmm
Oh, nice.
hmm
All right. Well, very good. Oh no, I know we've got the Santa app, calls
Oh,
we call
yeah.
Santa all the time.
You have to. You just have to with these kids sometimes.
hmm Well, we don't have a lot of news this morning, believe it or not.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I
In,
think that's good, yes.
in a way. Yeah.
But one interesting news tidbit is that Cayman continues to see a steady increase in visitor arrivals.
hmm
So as of September 2023, the Cayman Islands has showed steady growth towards a full tourism recovery, with both stayover and cruise arrivals maintaining an upward momentum. So this is a 105% increase in total visitation compared to the same period in 2022. Obviously, COVID impacted that significantly, but I think that this is good. So this comes from a report from the Department of Tourism, and so far in this period, we've welcomed some 323,000 stayover visitors and almost a million cruise visitors between
Wow.
January and September of 2023. Mhm.
Already.
So, yeah, some pretty interesting tidbits coming out of that. So, did you know that the premier of the Cayman Islands is one of the highest paid leaders in the entire world
Huh.
compared to like the United States of America? She's on par with the US president in terms of a salary when she do the conversion. So, an Auditor General's report was recently released that looked at the salaries of the civil service, but it also included an analysis of the salary for members of parliament, including cabinet and the premier. And so she makes a lot of money.
I wonder everyone wants it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Mm.
So, yeah, who wouldn't, I
Yeah.
guess?
I
Um,
mean, I don't wanna get involved in the politics side, but just in general, my thinking of all that, whether it's Cayman, US, or anything, I
mhm.
think anyone that's doing a service to their country, it shouldn't be paid, like, super, super well, it should be paid enough
Mhm.
because 'cause you're supposed to be serving your country like you would, say, if you go into any service
Yeah.
for
Well, I mean, there's two streams of thought. There's that one, and the other one is if you don't pay them well, they're more likely to be paid by other people, such as criminal elements and people who can buy them easily. So if you compensate them well enough,
I guess
then they're less likely to be easy to bribe.
I guess so, but
That's
I
what
don't
they
know.
say.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So it is interesting, and
Mhm.
we'll touch on that and talk a little bit about that as well. So if you are one of the lucky civil servants who is actually getting this additional $1,500 in the month of December, guess what? The cabinet has also approved an increase in the duty allowance for a set period in December as well.
And this is for everyone. This is great.
This is for everyone.
Yes, this is if you're traveling. I mean,
Yeah,
there
this is
should
for
be
all
something.
residents.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we were able to ship stuff in for just a little bit less. But
So returning residents are now being allowed from December the 1st, that's today, to January the 5th, $1,000 in duty-free, dutiable personal and household items. So
yeah,
of course, this doesn't include anything for business or resale, but still, that's like double what you normally get because
yeah.
normally
If
it's
you're
like
going Christmas
$500.
shopping, yeah, and you want
Yeah.
to bring back $1,000 worth of
So look
Christmas
look at
presents.
that. They're giving you $1,500 and then letting you spend 1,000 of it duty free.
Mm,
I mean, they
yeah,
should probably be encouraging you to save the money.
well,
But nonetheless,
who saves around Christmas? It's the
I
holiday.
know this it's just a bad time of year to even suggest that to people. I know people look at me like I'm crazy when I say, put that on your mortgage, make that be an extra payment. They're like, huh? What's a mortgage? They're
Oh,
all looking to not pay their mortgage in December. So there you
ah,
go.
yeah.
But yes, pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So there you go. Those are your news headlines morning.
Cool. Well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your show and a great weekend. And then we'll see you back on Monday morning.
Yes, absolutely. Have a good one.
You too. See ya. That's
Right.
Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my good people. Let's get ready here for our show. How's everybody doing? Beautiful day today. All right, sit back, relax.
Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio. We are still spilling the tea and committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman, live, direct, it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
All right, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Yes. Happy Friday. Everybody's good. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Friday today. Hello. How you doing, clase? El clase. Buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? All right, everybody here? Well, people are coming. Good morning. Good morning to Mr. Everton, Miss Pat, Siobhan, Hilda, Patricia Blake in the house. Yes, Olivia is here. Evelyn. Now, you might see me moving a little bit this morning. That's because I've got an ice pack on my foot. Ooh, honey child. I told y'all I have foot problems. And so I'm having a little bit of a flare up this morning. Not this morning. It started yesterday morning. And it felt a little bit better. And then this morning at 5 o'clock, it started waking me up with jolting pain again. So I had to pull out my good old TENS machine, This thing has been a lifesaver. If you don't know what a TENS machine is, I'm going to just put it on display for you all. So this is TENS stands for something electro something. But what it does is it connects to pads, and you can get pads of all different sizes and shapes and whatever. And I always have to order these in bulk from Amazon because I do go through them. So you connect them to these little pads. And if you suffer from any kind of chronic pain condition, you know, it might be part of your like pain management. So I do what I can. I do everything, to be honest, but the TENS machine is relatively like non-invasive. I don't like to take pain meds. I think you guys know that. I really don't like to take medication at all. And so this is something that I found. I discovered it. Remember when I was telling you guys about this tailbone injury that I had many, many years ago? That was a very chronic situation. And I was introduced to TENS machine then by my physiotherapist. And this, I've owned multiple ones. Thank you. Somebody just told me exactly what it stands for. Transcutaneous electrical, hold on, that disappeared, hold on. Electrical nerves, something. Nerve stimulation, yes. And it is a lifesaver, like I said, if you suffer from chronic pain. So over the years, I've had to use it kind of in different areas. Basically how it works, this is my, rudimentary understanding, is it essentially numbs the area to help you get through it. It doesn't, and sometimes you just need that in order to just cope, so it doesn't get to the root problem of what's causing the pain. But in my case, the root problem is just mechanics, I guess. And I put too much pressure on the ball of my foot. And then sometimes it gets really, really inflamed. So literally I do everything from, everything like soaking in Epsom salt. I don't do that as much as I probably should. I'll do my acupuncture. I also don't do that as much as I should. Physiotherapy, stretching of the calf muscles, because that'll help me not sort of over stress the actual, because everything's connected. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on the ball of my foot for multiple reasons. One is the weight gain that we keep talking about, honey Chia, those 50 pounds. But I feel like I've always had this problem because I remember this even as a kid. I remember occasionally having this pain in my foot and not really knowing what it was, right? And so eventually I've been to various podiatrists and had a diagnosis. And they say that maybe, foot inserts can help. But then, these podiatrists like, oh yeah, there's like a $200 foot insert and you need it in every single shoe. I'm like, and then you can't use an open-toed shoes, only closed-toed shoes. So that is, unfortunately, that option isn't quite as practical for me, because I'm not always wearing closed-toed shoes, probably 80% of the time, let's be honest. When I went to Greece, I traveled with my TENS machine because I knew I'd be doing a lot of walking. And pretty much every day, after we walked all day long up and down those ruins, honey chow, I was using my TENS machine and just manually massaging sometimes help. I've got a foot massager. I use Voltaren rub. I've got one that you can only get from the pharmacist. I need to try and remember the name of it. It's like a Caribbean one, capsaicin or something. It has an extra ingredient in it. And it shows a little guy like running with fire under his feet. So I find that here and in Jamaica, they recommend that. Americans don't really seem to use that as much as a foot rub. So sometimes I use that. So yeah, it actually flared up yesterday when I was driving. And sometimes it happens just at the worst possible time. Driving is one of the worst possible times because it was my right foot and I'm driving with the right foot. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But I do carry Voltaren in my handbag. It's the one staple thing. Other than probably my phone, I try to always have Voltaren close by or something, foot rub close by, because I just never know when it's going to happen. And I have noticed that certain shoes do make it worse. So that's why you never see me like in high heels anymore. And any shoe that kind of pinches the ball of the foot region is going to be problematic as well. So good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sunday. I just got back to the island.
Oh, we missed you.
I had a wonderful vacation.
Oh, nice. Where were you?
I was in St. Cloud, just
And
outside of Kissimmee.
oh, okay, nice.
And I spent my 26th birthday with 50 years experience. Had me a wonderful time.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness, wonderful.
Speaking about foot problems, I had
Yes.
a foot problem one time. Um, it was called a heel spur.
Oh, okay.
It was in the nights when I lie down, I was happy,
Mhm,
no pain at all.
mhm,
Once I got off the bed, I just want to hold on to the ceiling and get to the bathroom.
mm,
That's how bad it was. So
mhm.
I went to the number one shoe shop. I'm not a salesperson for them. I don't get no
Yeah.
commission from them. I went to the number one shoe shop and they
Mhm,
introduced me to this orthopedic
mhm.
insoles.
Yes. Yeah,
And
I've been there, done that. Trust me.
I tell
Yeah.
you what, they work. I have not had any problems with my foot since that.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, certain foot issues are probably a little bit easier to correct than others. It depends on what is actually causing it. So I think a lot of people know for a while, I think over a year, I actually had a sort of a tendon issue in the back of the heel as well. And so that was my left foot, and that was very, very painful. And that kind of just took a really long time to resolve. Sometimes I feel like I ignore pain probably more than I should. And so by the time I finally go to an expert or a physiotherapist or whatever, they're like, oh, yeah, you should have come to us a lot sooner. But yeah, no insoles, I'm told. But in my case, I would actually need custom ortho insoles, and they are extremely expensive, and they're not
Expensive.
always practical in the sense that they don't work with every type of shoe. So for men, it's probably a little bit easier because I think most men wear closed-toed shoes. Women, we have to be a little bit more fashionable.
Well,
Um,
suffer then. if
I know.
if you
No, 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 no,
if
no.
you
I'm,
got
I'm trying
you
my
got to
best
put
to
if
to
you got
to
Cindy,
meet the situation
if you
halfway.
got to put fashion over your health,
No, 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 no,
have
no,
your
no. Like
feelings.
I said, I don't wear heels anymore. I wear granny shoes. This is why my husband always makes fun of me. He's like, "Oh God, if you buy another pair of granny shoes," and I'm like, "Listen, this is what's like semi-comfortable." But it seems like the shoes can only help so much. So I think it's like a combination of like I have to do a little bit of everything to probably, but I don't think it'll ever go away completely. Like I said, I feel like I've actually had this my entire life. Someone has just recommended, they're saying, is it the metatarsalogia, which is it pinches the nerve between the toes. Well, this isn't actually the nerve between the toes. And I do have those metatarsal pads as well, um, which I think can help take some of the pressure off. But what it actually is the big toe. And because that's associated with the ball of the foot. On the side is where I get the direct pain. And then that radiates out into the ball of the foot. And it even can go as far as
Well,
like in the toes and stuff as
that
well.
that sounded like something I had. I mean, I went to Dr. Anthony, and he said to me, he says, "We don't operate anymore because in a couple of years
Hmm.
it keeps coming back."
Mm,
So I showed him this orthopedic and soles from because they put you on a machine, and the
yeah.
machine tells you what you actually need. It was because I was wearing flat shoes.
Hmm.
I had to stop wearing them. I used to wear
Yes.
sandals because it was easy to put my
Right.
foot into,
Yeah.
and now I wear a whole shoe.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
can't.
what it does,
I'm not supposed to walk barefoot, and
here you go.
I'm not supposed to also, so even inside, if people come over to my house, they'll always see me in some sort of a slipper of some sort. It's because I'm not supposed to walk barefoot. And I'm also, because that same thing with my heel. And it's connected in part to my calf muscle as well. So no barefoot, no shoes that are completely flat, which means, like you said, no slip, no like flip flops and stuff like that. So I always try to wear something with a slight elevation, but then it's a compromise because I can't go too high, because the higher I go, the more pressure I put on the ball of the foot. So it's
Yeah, like
listen, I've
Doctor.
been dealing with it for years, and I know exactly what the issue is and what some of the solutions are. But unfortunately, there's no permanent fix. So when it flares up, I just got to try to manage the pain. But thank you
What
so
happened?
much and welcome home.
Dr. Anthony said
Hmm.
by wearing flat shoes, arch in your foot
Hmm.
stretches the um, the arch stretch,
Mhm.
and that is what is causing the my heel. You call it heel spur, but it was more on the side. It wasn't a heel.
Mm.
It
Mhm.
wasn't a heel. It was on the side because of the
Yes, that
arch
sounds like what I had before.
and
Yeah. And but
and
you got to stretch too, because one of the things that I've recognized is that and I've been to Dr. Anthony. He's on my regular list. I think I'm due to go to him now actually, but one of the things that he said to me in particular in terms of my mechanics is I have a very like my calf muscles are really big. And a lot of people look at me. I've had people, when I used to go to the gym and stuff and I was in a little bit better shape, they look at my calf muscles and goes, "Oh my God, how did you get those? I want those. How do I work out?" And I said, believe it or not, I do very little to impact my calf muscles. It's entirely genetics, right? So, but because that muscle is a little bit overdeveloped and it doesn't have the flexibility in it, because it's a bigger muscle, but it's not flexible, I should be stretching it almost like, well, he said every opportunity I get during the day, I should be trying to stretch and elongate that muscle because then that impacts what happens with my feet. So I don't have the pivot and the flexibility in my feet because the calf muscle is so tight. And the only way, there are some people who surgically actually go into the calf muscle and they cut it to elongate it, but I'm not going to do that. That would be, I'm not up for that kind of surgery, but yes.
Well, this morning we solved the world problem.
The world's foot problems.
Anyway, Sandy,
Welcome
I'm glad
home.
to be back and talking to you.
Yes, sir.
Keep up the good work. I didn't watch any of your programs in Florida because I was didn't have access to my computer.
Oh, that's okay.
And I'm glad to be back now. I'm listening to your because I'm just going to take the dog so I can get my exercise.
Wonderful.
All
right, my dear. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
So, listen, I've been to Dr. Anthony for years. We've done everything. We've done foot scans. We've done ultrasounds on the foot. We've looked at, is it nerves? Is it tendons? Is it this? Is it that? And we've ruled out everything imaginable. And at one point I was questioning my own sanity about this. I even went to a specialist in Miami that's affiliated with the University of Miami. And in the end, she came to the very same conclusion as Dr. Anthony. Certain types of shoes, like I said, that's why I don't really buy cheap shoes. I'm going to buy quality shoes. But even then, it's still a problem. So I try to do more platform heels, no high heels, lower shoes, but can't go too flat. Listen, it's a whole situation. So, I'm icing it now, and I'm hoping that it'll settle down today. I'll probably do like a Epsom salt foot soak a little bit later on as well. But it's just, and it is the most uncomfortable feeling in the world. And like I said, it seems to always happen at the worst time. Like when I'm sleeping, 5 o'clock this morning, it woke me up. When I'm driving, I go to an event, and if I wear shoes that I haven't worn in a while and they're kind of pinching my feet a little bit, it'll flare up. And I'm like standing here trying to talk to the governor with a straight face. And I'm in so much pain. Like my foot is just, and I want to be like, oh, just grab my foot and chop it off. But anyway, yes, it's a whole situation. So, and of course, like most of us, when we're not feeling the pain, we're not thinking about the things that we should be doing to kind of offset it. So I should be stretching way more than I do. I should be doing calf muscle stretches. And I don't think about it unless I'm like about to go exercise. And I know, okay, it's probably going to come on after a bit of an exercise or whatever. But yeah, it's just, it's one of those things, folks. So I do live with, this is my chronic pain situation. But yeah, this TENS machine has been a godsend. Even if it just dulls the pain, it makes it manageable. I'll put it on, it has a timer on it for like an hour. The original one that I had actually no timer. Like you could just leave it on forever, but they don't really recommend that because your body gets used to anything, including even the numbing of pain. So there's different settings on it that you can utilize. So I'm going to order one more of these so that I can always travel with it because Lord Jesus, I just feel like I need it all the time. Good morning, caller.
Sandy, good morning.
Hi, honey.
I can't find your station on TV. What's going on?
The YouTube, we're on the backup channel because YouTube claims that we were talking about something medical that wasn't true.
Oh,
I don't know what they're talking about.
oh,
But listen, just go to if you're in YouTube, or you
Yeah.
can WhatsApp me and I'll send you the link directly. But just
Ah.
put in Cayman Mall Road, Cayman, and you should be able to find the YouTube channel.
Cayman, my road, Cayman.
Yes. So type that
okay.
in, and it's
okay.
you'll see that the symbol is actually different than the regular one. So it is it's the gold coin. It's like the CMR logo, but in the gold coin.
No problem. Sir.
Yeah. So yeah, we have about 50 people actually on the
Okay,
YouTube
baby.
channel.
All right.
Thank you, my dear. Normally we would have a lot more because I think some people are still struggling to find us. But yes, we have 2 YouTube channels for this exact same reason, just like we do, we have the Facebook backup feed and stuff as well. But just search for, and the thing is you got to subscribe to it so that, it'll give you notifications. But let me put it here in the chat as well. So it's Cayman Mall Road, Cayman, and then you'll be able to find it. So that's where when we get in trouble on the other feed for whatever reason, and they've actually got us blocked this time for 2 weeks. And I'm like, but we didn't even do anything wrong. But they're claiming that I've appealed it. I mean, they haven't come back yet with a decision, but I basically said, I think you guys got it wrong. Your so-called artificial intelligence is confused. But hopefully they'll release it before the 2 weeks, and then we'll go from there. But listen, this is how these things work, unfortunately. So it has put us in YouTube jail, claiming that something we said went, what did it say? Something about medical misinformation. I'm like, huh? What? So we got a strike, and it says, yes, your content was removed because of a violation of our community guidelines. And then when you looked at the details, it said something. And the weird thing is, the headline was ministers already selling out in medical misinformation. So I have they rejected my appeal? What? I don't even know what they're talking about. That is crazy. And then, a lot of these things, they don't, I'm pretty sure we weren't talking about anything medical that day, but a lot of these things, they don't actually, they don't actually allow you to really appeal it to a live person a lot of times. It's just bizarre. So anyway, yes, we are in that Facebook jail until December the 17th, I guess. And you can't, it's so frustrating. One of these days I'm going to do away with YouTube and Facebook entirely, I feel like, but you kind of need them because they're the big boys in town. But yes, it's crazy. Huh. What to do? I tell you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what medical information they're talking about. Misinformation. Anywho, we carry on. We have the backup channel. So just find us on the backup channel. We're still on Facebook. Obviously, we're in Bobo. And we're going to start looking at options of just streaming directly on the website as well, so that you can go directly on the website and just have a look. So Steven says, worst pain in the world. Wouldn't wish it on my enemies. Oh, girl. Boy, you have foot problems too? Yeah, your feet carry a lot of load. I don't think a lot of us recognize how much so, but it carries your entire body. And so I do feel like we neglect our feet a lot. But, I'm just grinning and bearing it. Occasionally, if it's really bad, like now, I should probably take some medication. And it's probably going to take, morning, Jaron. How you doing? There's no school today? It's probably going to take about 1,000 milligrams of painkillers to help this settle down, which is a lot. And I really, really like for that to be a last resort. So I'll put some more foot cream on today, and some more icing, and just try to grin and bear it. Thank you, Tony. Paul is here joining us from Bermuda. Where's Miss Linda? Is Miss Linda here? Rough seas, we're still waiting on confirmation. So yesterday I got a tip that was a pretty well-placed tip of a body having been discovered, a decomposed body in East End. I mean, we're waiting to see. We've asked the police. I don't think they've said anything yet. So this person said, what is this? You got that from those nighttime squats. Lord have mercy. No, the calf muscles are not from any real squatting. Trust me. Good morning. Police heading east, high speed, 2 cars. Yeah, I saw them also. Was it yesterday or day before? Yes, honey chill. What can you do? Johan is liking the top today. He's saying that kind of looking milfy in that leopard print today. Meow. I don't think you should have said meow. Meow is a little kitty. It should be like a big, like tiger growl, like "Arr." The fact that you said meow says a lot about you, Johan. Boring. We know who's not doing backflips between the sheets. Johan, he's boring. Talk about meow. Hashtag sneaky links, he says. He's so funny and ridiculous at the same time. Yeah, so I have on a different kind of top today. You know what? I said it's Friday. Since my foot was giving me problems, I'm like, I'm going to make sure the rest of me looks good. Forget the feet. Somebody said, your hand's sweeting you up for more brownies. I know, right? That's what he wants. That's exactly what it is. He thinks that compliments is going to get him somewhere. So yes, I decided to put on a different top this morning. And, I guess it might be considered. I don't know why do people think leopard is like sexy? I don't know, whatever. And then, this is so easy because you just wear this with black and you're done. You can wear it black or beige or brown. It's a nice print that you can just work with. Perla also likes the top. She's like, ooh, how you look so hot in that blouse. I love it. That's what you, Chan. What a hot mess. Morning to Haley. Wishing everybody a beautiful morning. So hurricane season is officially over. It is the 1st of December. And apparently the 1st of December, kids get into this whole elf on the shelf thing. So listen, we didn't grow up with no elf on the shelf because we probably didn't even have any shelves to put the elf on. So I know nothing about this from childhood experiences, but I do know that it's a thing. And I guess, if kids are still believing in Santa, this elf on the shelf is supposed to help them behave. I believe that's how it works. And so, parents use every tool in their arsenal box to keep children behaving, even if it's just for the month of December. So you got this little elf. We have one around here somewhere. My husband needs to dig him out. I don't even know where he is. But she tries to find him every single day. We hide him somewhere different. And then she finds him. It's just a fun game, something that's like entertaining. But now that we have Zeus, we got to be careful where we put the elf on the shelf, because if we put it too low and he can find it, it'll be the elf that was chewed up by Zeus, no longer the elf on the shelf. This dog puts everything in his mouth. Oh my God. He is definitely, I don't know. Do dogs go through a teething stage? Because this seems to be lasting forever. But he is a puppy. You put the towel down after his bath. He starts nibbling on the towel and he's going to eat it. And then he eats it. This is the worst part. He's chewing up his toys. This morning we saw him chewing something. We're like, what on earth is this? It was the stuffing out of the toy and he was about to eat it. I'm like, dog, no wonder you're always constipated. Sometimes I walk him forever to get him to use the bathroom. I'm like, that's because you eat everything. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. So I'm hoping that as he eases into, he's going to be 1 in February, that hopefully, I'm trying to remember with Coco, but I got Coco when she was already 1, so she wasn't quite a puppy. But, hopefully he starts to settle down with all the stuff that he loves to eat. Morning, Debbie. Perla says, I'm going to prepare my coffee and look for my bun. Yes, Miss Sue says, I have neurology nerve problems in my left foot. Health City wanted $1,500 to do tests. No way. Can I pay that amount? Then still doesn't go. I take Lyrica at night to help sleep. So, listen, it's costly sometimes to figure out what on earth is going on. Like I said, I've been to multiple, I'm sure I've spent way more than that. I've been to multiple doctors all over the world. In fact, when you say that, Sue, the one in Miami that I went to, she wanted to prescribe a foot rub. And the one that she recommended was $2,000. Listen to this, a $2,000 medication that's like a foot rub. And I'm like, what's in this exactly? What kind of miracle cure am I looking at here? And it was like, there's only one manufacturer in the US that makes it. So it's a specific brand. And I was like, honey child, nobody not got a $2,000 to be spending on no medication. And you can't find it. I mean, I was looking all over the US for it. It's very, very limited in terms of where you can even find it because a lot of stores just do not stock it. It is so ridiculously priced. So you talk about medical stuff in Cayman, you'd be surprised what you're paying in the US. And that would be out of pocket. I was like, child, I ain't got no $2,000 to spend on no foot rub. I'm sorry. Good morning to Stephanie. So good to see you. George is here. So nice to see you. He says, worst pain in the world is back pain and foot pain. I believe you, George. Trust and believe. Miss Olive is here. Steven says, maybe I just need to feed the dog. Oh, he eats. He's very sort of finicky still with the eating. Like sometimes you put it down. He's like, he doesn't feel like eating. But no, he eats. Poor little thing. He had to get shaven down, by the way, because he was starting to get a little bit matted. I'm going to take full responsibility for that because I should be brushing him every day. And he's different than Coco, although they're the same Shih-Tzu mix. He has more of the Shih Tzu in him than she did. She had more of the poodle, which means that even Zeus's texture and hair and stuff is different than hers. She was much more like curly mixed with the curly, and she didn't have that thicker undercoat that he has. So if you don't brush that, apparently it gets matted really, really quickly. So when I took him to the groomers the other day, they were like, ooh, he's matted. And if we try to comb this out, this is going to really hurt him. So I think we're going to have to shave him down. I was like, oh. So he looks like a little rat right now, walk around, no hair. And you know what is so interesting? I do see our guest waiting, so I'm going to jump on that here in a second. But now that he's shaven down, I think it has impacted his confidence level. Now, I know y'all are thinking, Sandy, you got to be crazy, but hear me out. Hear me out here, okay? He's used to having this body of fur, which keeps him warm, because I noticed now he's such a shiver a little bit. So we cover him up at night in his little blanket. And I think that gave him like a poofiness that he was walking around like, hey, I am a big Zeus. Like, what y'all going to do about it? Now he doesn't have that exterior. And this is a lesson for all human beings. Make sure your exterior is nice and tough and how you want it. Because, people approach you differently and you walk differently too. So now he doesn't have that. He's kind of like not so sure of himself. And I can see that he's a little bit more like timid. He wants to be held more. So, poor little thing. Duke says engaging in exercise 1 hour max relieves body pain. Dump the idea of meds. Well, it depends on what's causing the pain, Duke. Because in my case, exercise would actually make it worse, especially if it's high impact exercise on my feet. So even when I go and play pickleball, I can expect to have some pain afterwards. So yeah, that's a very wide and sweeping statement that isn't necessarily true. It just depends on what causes the pain. But nonetheless, exercise is good for many other reasons. Marshall says it sounds like Zeus is a goat eating up everything. Child, I've never owned a goat, but probably. First Lady Jan says, yes, foot pain and back pain ain't no joke, yo. That's right, honey, chill. All right, folks, let's switch gears a little bit here. Happy Friday. We got lots of things that we're going to talk about. We still got, it's only 8 o'clock. It's nice and early in the morning. But I do want to bring on a guest who is, was visiting our island from overseas. And she's going to talk about a very, harrowing experience that she had in her beautiful island. And this has led to her recognizing that we have some gaps in our legislation. Go figure. I mean, you and I live here and we know about a lot of gaps in our legislation, but it's interesting when other people come from abroad and they also say, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. That can't be right. Are you sure that's how your country's laws work? And we're like, mm-hmm. And meanwhile, while our elected officials are running around, handing out $1,500, they're not fixing some of these very critical loopholes that exist in legislation that would serve to protect all of us, right? And so I would love to see a bit more of that. So let's go ahead and invite Louisa onto the program. Good morning, Louisa.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Happy Friday. Thank you.
Yes, happy Friday and happy December the 1st. How are you?
Right. Well, not as good as I want to be or should be, but, hanging in there. And they've taken it day by day.
Absolutely. So we were talking this morning about, some of the pains and aches that we have in life, but you've been having some pain recently that is no fault of your own. And so let's just back it up a little bit and tell us how you got in the situation that you're in. Now, you were visiting our island. Just remind us of when you were actually visiting.
Yes, so I did fly out to your island back in October 25th. I
Mhm.
went out there for some continuing medical education. I am a physician. And so these are things that we have to do, yearly to keep up
Mhm.
our license. So I decided, well, I've always wanted to visit Cayman Islands. So they have some courses out there. Hey, why not? It's a perfect opportunity. So me and my husband went out there and our first day there, everything was pretty okay. We were staying at the Marriott hotel, and then which is where the conference was being held at. On
Mhm.
our second day there, we decided to go out for dinner that night. We asked some of the locals around, what is a good, restaurant, whatever. Someone did recommend the Peppers restaurant, which is about a block from the hotel,
Mhm.
which is where we went. We had a nice dinner. Everything was pretty nice. At the end, we were gonna start walking back to the hotel, and as we were crossing the street, then a car that was going, I don't know, he must have been going 55, 60 on a 25 or 30-mile
Mhm. Mhm.
road. He struck us both. Now, I don't remember anything because, of course, I had a concussion and I lost consciousness. So I woke up in the hospital. My husband, he had a concussion. He didn't lose consciousness, so he was able to see everything that happened. Luckily there was a big crowd, a lot of people around, so they helped. They called the ambulance, they held him down and everything. The driver fled the scene, never stopped. So, well, I woke up in a hospital
So
in.
let me just pause you just a second here.
Sure.
So you got hit as a pedestrian walking. Were you actually on the pedestrian walk when this happened?
I don't remember. Like I said, I
Okay.
lost consciousness, but we were walking to, across the street as we
Yeah.
should. I don't remember anything, which is
Mm.
kind of okay with me because I think I would probably be feeling worse right now if I could, if I was
Yeah.
living that moment day by day, which is what my husband is going through.
Mhm.
But, I woke up in a hospital. I mean, imagine waking up in a hospital in a
Mhm.
country that's not yours. People, just everyone is a stranger around you telling you you just got struck by a car and you need surgery.
Mm.
It was a nightmare. The whole time I'm worried about my husband because
Mhm.
I hadn't seen him. He was worried about me. It was just crazy.
Mhm.
Um, we did have a police woman that came by later on that night to get a statement, and I'm sitting here like, we just got struck by a car. You want a statement? I'm just like, can you give us some
Oh, my
time
dear.
here?
Well, I must tell you, you're actually lucky that they showed up because in most instances they would have told you there's nothing that they were going to even do about it. But anyway, that's a whole other
Yeah,
story.
so then she
But
she did
yeah,
show up, and she was I think she was the sheriff or something. She was very stern and just very adamant to my husband, you need to give me a statement, and because you were, like, you have to tell me how you were crossing. And it was just so upsetting to him, and he said, I'm not gonna give you anything. I'm not gonna sign anything. I don't like your attitude, and you're making it seem like, what, like we did something wrong. We're here in a hospital, we could have been killed.
yeah.
So
And so
she
this
went.
this was the police that were actually at the hospital saying that you needed
Yeah.
to give them a statement then. Wow.
So yeah, this was. So I want to just make it clear. There was a policewoman. Her name
Mhm.
is PC Samuels. That's not her at all. That woman is an angel. She's
Mhm.
very, very good policeman. It was another person. I didn't get her
Mhm.
name. I think she has a higher rank. She might be what we call a sheriff here, but I don't know what you guys call it
Mhm.
there. But that's who she was. She then later proceeded to go to the ICU, okay, intensive care unit, which is where I was at, and wanted me to get a statement. And I'm saying, I don't remember anything. I just literally woke up and I'm on the hospital bed, loopy, just feeling,
Mhm.
groggy and everything because I'm getting ready to go to surgery. And
Mhm.
she was just adamant. And even the nurse really practically kicked her out and said, this is a patient that was in an accident. She just told you she doesn't remember. You need to leave her alone and you need to leave. And I
Wow.
think because it was an ICU where, patients are usually in a very delicate state, and she left. I
Mm.
didn't see her again, thank God.
Wow.
But yeah, so, everyone in the hospital was really good. The doctors, the nurses, the staff, amazing people, amazing, just very caring. However, let me just tell you about the billing department now. That same night, there is a lady from the billing department. Okay, it must have been like 11 o'clock because the accident happened at 9:30. She went into my husband to try to get him to pay. She was like, well, your wife needs surgery and you're going to be admitted, so I'm going to need at least, $1,000 or something like that because, I need payment. And my husband was just like, wow, like it was just crazy to us. So then, he said, well, no, we can't or whatever. And so she came to me the next day post surgery and she was like, well, I need some payment. I said, wait a minute, it doesn't work like that. We got hit by someone. And he was a drunk driver. So that was what I didn't say, was that same night in the evening, the guy that hit us, he actually went to the police and turned himself in. And
Mm.
supposedly he was drunk. He was 3 times over the limit, right?
Oh my
When
God.
they checked him. So,
Mm, mm,
it was awful. And I told the lady from the hospital, the billing lady, I said, wait a minute, no, this is not the way things are done. We just got hit by someone that was driving drunk, and
mm,
we need to go through his insurance. Man, that is when the when the nightmare began, because then she started saying, well, if he was drunk driving, if he had a DUI and he was drunk, here in this country, insurances, they don't have to pay for anything. And
mm,
I almost passed out when she said that. I was like,
mm,
what? Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I tell people that here in the US and they look at me like, wait, what? What
mhm,
country is this? What, Cayman? Are you sure? What is that? I
mm,
mean, seriously, it's really insane and it's incredible. But that is the reality. That is the reality. So my husband and myself, we left Cayman Islands with almost $40,000 hospital bill. And what we did here is, we decided to, well, let's try and see if we can get an attorney that can litigate something with insurance so they can at least pay the hospital costs.
mhm,
So, that's pretty much where we're at right now, just waiting.
mm,
But before we left the country, I did reach out to, an attorney's office, and they actually said to me, unfortunately, yeah, that is true. If there's a drunk driver, the insurances will not cover anything.
mm,
And
mm,
and she said that is a loophole. She also said a lot of countries in their government, they have a fund to where if things like this happen, then
mhm,
they will cover it. Well, Cayman doesn't even have that. And so I said, no, no, something's got to give here. This is not right. So
mhm,
you're telling people this beautiful dream that your country is
mhm,
so beautiful, your beaches are so beautiful. Come over here and see our paradise. But you're not saying one important thing, and that is if you get hit by a car as a pedestrian, you can
mhm.
get killed, and we're not going to do anything about it. You
Wow.
can get really hurt, and we're not going to do anything about it. You're going to go back home with hospital bills and hurt.
Mhm,
And I said, no, that can't be. I mean, if I need to talk to someone, and is there anyone in the country that is trying to change these laws? I mean, what is the process? But that is
yeah.
just straight up wrong. That's
Mhm,
wrong.
mhm.
How is that acceptable?
Well, it's a good question, and we're going to just call Tiz, who might be, I think, the attorney that you spoke with, and she is an attorney here in the Cayman Islands. Who Tiz is from Recover. They are sort of the experts when it comes to personal injury, and we've talked about this before. But now we have Louisa, who's here sharing her personal experience, and this is really, really important because, folks, if you're not understanding what the issue is here, I'm going to try to break it down, and we're going to have Tiz from a legal perspective really just explain this as well. But essentially what you have happening here is a loophole in the law. And I'm sure the insurance companies don't mind it remaining a loophole because it means that they have to pay out in fewer instances. But you have a situation here where no fault of your own, you can be involved in an accident. And there are things built into the contracts of the insurance companies that allow them to exclude or say, you know what, we're not going to cover this because. And apparently when it comes to vehicular coverage, and it is a little bit shocking because there's so many people who are involved in, in a DUI, it's their fault. The insurance companies are basically going to say, if that person is at fault, if they were doing something like drinking, we are not going to cover damages to the third person. So not even the innocent party. So it's not even like they say, well, we're not going to cover anything for you. So we're not going to place your car, you're going to lose your coverage with us, et cetera, et cetera. The innocent party is actually the one who is suffering. So this is pretty crazy and pretty wild. But let's go ahead and get Tiz on the line to see if she can add some clarity from a legal perspective. And I think the bottom line is we need to start lobbying our governments to change this because we know a lot of Caymanians who have, unfortunately, been victims of this as well. So it doesn't really matter where you're from. Good morning, Tiz.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
Great. How are you guys?
We're good. So we were talking about this. Of course, my mind automatically went to you because I know that you have discussed this before on the program. You're, personal injury experts there at Recover. But this seems a little bit shocking to me. And there seems to be no sort of willpower from our elected arm to try to do anything about this. Tell us from a legal perspective how the insurance companies are getting away with this.
So I want to thank Louisa for coming on your show and highlighting this issue, which unfortunately we see day in and day out affecting so many people's lives, so many people's futures, because they get struck by someone who doesn't have insurance or is not covered by insurance and then are left with a nightmare to deal with all their injuries and all their medical bills and figuring out the rest of their lives on their own. And it's really disgusting. It's one of the saddest things that I see on a daily basis on this island, and things have to change. And I think part of the problem is that not enough people realize how little their rights are when they're hit by somebody and the insurance company doesn't cover. So insurance companies, like you said, are very happy to sit back and deny claims, especially where drunk driving is occurring, because they consider that a criminal act and that's something that their policies don't cover. So then what is the poor person left to do is they can try to go after the actual driver personally. But if that driver does not have any means, any assets, does not own property, and does not work, then it becomes very, very difficult to get a judgment and enforce it against that person.
Wow.
Whereas if there was an insurance fund, or another solution would be to get your own insurance to cover you comprehensively in the case that you're hit by somebody without insurance, then there would be some protection, like a fallback that you would have, and peace of mind that, just in case, okay, if God forbid something bad happens to me like this, I can always go to my own insurance company or to a government fund if there's absolutely no insurance, like as a last resort. I know in Canada, where I'm from, there's the Motor Vehicle Accident Claims Fund, and that is where people can access. And if, for example, they're a pedestrian, they get hit by a car and the car takes off and can never be found. You would be able to apply for compensation through the government. And I'm sure in the States they have something, if not similar. They're covered by their own insurance companies. It's crazy to me that we are so behind on this island, that we don't have anything like that in place. And you know what? And the worst part is, well, for visitors and tourists, that is such a bad taste in their mouth that they leave with. No, after going through all that, they're never going to come back here again, and they're not going to talk well about our country. But for the people that live here, it's all falling on Cynical's lap, right? Because if they're covered by the government health scheme, that Cynical's spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on people who are injured in car accidents when it should be the auto insurers covering that. So this is something the government, I think, really needs to turn their minds to and, consult with insurance companies, consult with the legislators, and figure out a solution to this problem, because it's unfortunately, it's really bad, and it's not something that happens rarely. It's a regular occurrence.
Unbelievable. So thank you so much, Tiz, for that explanation. Again, Tiz works with these types of situations every day. How often, Tiz, would you say, like, how many cases, like 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, like how many cases are you looking at where you're finding that this loophole is basically allowing the insurance companies to get off the hook from paying?
I would say it's 1 out of 10, because it's not only drunk driving, it's anything the insurance companies can, like, if your license wasn't renewed on time, if you were driving your vehicle to work and you were picking up a passenger, they're saying, well, you're using your car for work purposes and we're not covering you. Any chance that they get, if you didn't renew your insurance on time, there's just so many reasons that they actually look for it before as soon as they're aware of a claim, they start looking for a way out
to exclude it. Wow.
Yeah.
It's horrible, and it also says a lot about our insurance companies here. I mean, so many of us think about how much we pay for coverage, and you don't use it. I mean, knock on wood, I've not had an accident that I've been at fault for at all, I don't think, since I've even been in the Cayman Islands. But heaven forbid the one time happens, they're gonna try to say, well, was her eyes really on the road that day? Like, oh, did she forget to tell us that they increased her blood pressure medication 16 years ago? Like, I've seen cases like this popping up on the cause list, and we've even reported on some of them, and we've written about some of them. And it really just is shocking that their primary remit seems to be just collect your payments. And then when you need them, they want to disappear, and they're simply not there.
Yeah, I think it's the mindset is they're all about profits, and they're not really caring, like, when you're get into a situation like this. They're the first ones to close the door and say, sorry, you're on your own.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate.
It's awful. I wonder, because insurance companies, as well as banks and corporations, sometimes they want to do what they want to do, but you have your government there, you have your state there, you have your city there to protect the people. So that is the part that is lacking, that needs to be revisited, where the country, actually the government allows for insurance companies to do this. And drunk driving is very common over there, as I hear. I hear from locals that is common. People drink and they drive. And so, there's got to be some sort of a repercussion. Yes, I understand it is a crime, right? It is. But at the same time, this person that committed a crime is also paying you for insurance.
Exactly.
It's not like they're not giving anything for free. We're not asking you to pay something out of your pocket for nothing. You're actually getting paid. You're making millions of dollars with people buying your insurance. And it's just really bad. I have a friend here that was going to go to Cayman to buy a condo and rent it as Airbnb. Of course, she's not going to do that now, after learning what happened to us. And if this is something that I have to talk to people about here in the States, I definitely will. Because I've also heard of people that have been killed out there, that nothing has been done. They have to just come home in a casket. And their family, there's nothing there, no compensation, nothing. I don't understand how, this can happen to people, not just tourists, like you say, also people from Cayman Islands. This is just not right. So if you have a family and the dad goes out to work, gets struck and hit and killed because someone was drinking and driving, then that's it. What do you tell the family? What do you tell those kids? We're sorry, but we just don't pay because that's our policy. You know what I mean? Like, at what point does your government step in and protect your people? Like, at what point?
We're asking the same question a lot of different fronts, Louisa.
Like, I understand that everyone is comfortable in their palace over there in England,
Oh,
but shit, you gotta think about the people that are out here.
yeah.
We are the people that are making your country, because your locals are working. They are working, right? And then you have tourists that come and spend money. Like, something's got to give, and sometimes it's got to happen to the right person to start something or to join, because I know that a lot of people have been trying to do something about this, and nothing has given. It's just insane. And you guys do vote for a governor, right? You do get a governor.
Well, we don't vote for the governor. That person's appointed from the UK, but we have elected officials.
Okay.
And we have a premier of this country who makes the equivalent almost of what the president of the United States makes. So they're pretty well paid. The question is, are they asleep at the wheel, quite literally? And they are paying attention to these types of issues that are critical to the protection of people in the community. Louisa, I want to thank you so much. So where are you now? Some people are asking if you had travel insurance that might have been able to assist you in any way.
No, so I didn't purchase travel insurance. I've never, as much as I traveled, that's something that I've never thought that I needed or I should have gotten. No, I didn't have travel insurance. I do have my own health insurance here from the States, and they can cover something, internationally. Yes, they can. But is that fair? No. So, why should we make it easier? And okay, well, let's just pay the hospital because insurances won't cover. I just don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair that I involve my insurance company here. I just don't. But no, I didn't have any travel insurance, and quite frankly, to be honest, if I did have travel insurance, I don't even trust that. there's probably a loophole on that there in Cayman Islands, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what to think anymore. And it's a beautiful island, and the people are very nice, very warm. Like I said earlier, the hospital staff, doctors, nurses are incredible, just incredible people, very good people. We were treated so very well. Even at the hotel, they treated us so well, because of this accident. But the legality part of it really is just not right. Just not right.
All right, my dear. Well, we really appreciate it so much. And maybe this might be the turn. I don't know if our legislators are paying attention and listening, but perhaps they are. And we can see what happens from there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so glad you guys let me in the show just to kind of say my story and my part. I definitely do have a few friends here. We're going to organize, and, we are going to start organizing here in the States and just letting people know here what is going on in the Cayman Islands. And so once it starts in one country, it might spread. Next thing you know, you guys are going to be like, hey, what's going on with the tourists? Well, you guys got to start fixing stuff.
All right. Michael says in the comment section, the lady stated that DUI is a crime. No, here it's a traffic offense, not a crime. Tiz, you want to speak to this from the perspective of the insurance companies, how they're able to actually exclude it?
It is against the law to drive drunk. So it's excluded. It also, even though it's like traffic court, it's treated like you lose your license for a year and you get a fine. So it's not, and the government did, I have to say, they took one step further by reducing the legal limit, or right? Because it used to be, I think, 120 and now it's 0.880. So I
Yes.
mean, because but the problem is that drinking on this island, drinking and driving is so common and so prevalent that it's a huge problem and it keeps happening.
Wow.
So we have to take further steps.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, thank you so much to Tiz Romano. Again, she's at Recover. You guys can reach out to her. Just remind people, Tiz, if they want to, if they find themselves in a situation, how best they can reach out to the Recover team.
You can reach us 24 hours a day on our WhatsApp hotline number, and it is 924-9999. Again, that's 924-9999.
All right. So thank you, Tiz. Louisa, thank you again for sharing
Thank
your
you.
story.
Thank you so very much. You take
Yeah,
care.
it's very
Hopefully,
unfortunate.
we'll get something out of something to happen
Well,
positive.
we'll definitely keep in touch, and I wish you a full recovery as well.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. You have a beautiful show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks. So we definitely have to do more. We do have a caller. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. All right, Tiz, thank you.
Thanks.
I do see. Oops, sorry, that was a little bit abrupt, but I did see someone else trying to call on WhatsApp. Hold on 1 second here. You know, the WhatsApp sometimes rings on the phone and the app when I have the app up. So hold on, Miss Darlene. I'm coming to you, honey chill. Let me call her back from the computer. We do it from the computer so you guys can hear the audio. All right, there we go. Yes, good morning.
Morning. Happy Friday.
Happy
I was
Friday.
listening to part of the conversation, and what I found very interesting over here in the UK is that they have something that, well, the locals call it black box. I'm sure it's not black box in the insurance realm of things. But what this does is that insurance companies, if they have any doubt, are usually found in non-experienced drivers. Say you just get your license, whether you're 50, whether you're 17 or 70. They put you onto what they call a black box, what the locals call a black box. And what that does is that monitors, just like an aircraft, I believe, they monitors your movement, how you drive, how you accelerate, how you brake, whatever. And so what that do, they'll put you on depending on how long they feel. So you as a driver, and then the other thing is depending too on how you drive is your insurance. And this insurance will go across the island here and say, well, okay, Betty Joe or John Brown is a bad driver or not suitable. I don't think they say, but and then you lose points. So a lot of the drivers are so conscious of that if they got a block. Because I was listening to just a mate of mine, and she was saying, she said, "Oh my God, I'm so cautious. I don't want to brake hard. I don't want to speed, accelerate." So they'll monitor you for 1 year at a time. And it depends on what kind of result that box is showing them that you will then get a lower premium or an increased premium. And then this is, of course, across the country. I don't think Scotland participates in it, but I know for sure Wales and the UK and England participate. So a lot of times you'll see people will behave differently because they're so scared of increased insurance. And insurance in the UK is not pretty cheap. It's very expensive. So these are little things that I think that we could take, to encourage them, but they know whether the way you drive, whether you're drunk, if you're swaying or whatever, because this computer or black box they call it will then see what kind of thing it is. They can call the police. They can. So it's all things to make you conscious of the way you're driving.
Yeah.
So I just thought of share
Thank
that.
you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. We got a poll question coming up here. And you know what, Kevin, I was actually thinking another poll question we should do, because just as I was listening to Miss Darlene there, I was thinking to myself, another poll question could be, how many of you would be open to having some sort of a device in your vehicle that forced you to blow? I mean, like a breathalyzer, I would be up for that. Kevin, can we maybe add that to the poll? Can we do a 2-part poll question? Can we add a second question? Because I'm curious to know. I'll take that one down so you can add it. I'm curious to know how many of you would be open to that. Now I can hear the airwaves of your ears perking up already. Oh, Sandy, they're taking all of her freedoms away. What next? Well, I don't mind giving up a little personal freedom for this sake. See, Rough Sea says, no way. I'm like, listen, I don't mind giving up a little personal freedom to try to keep us all safe. You know how many lives we could potentially save if you got in a vehicle and you had to blow? Because a large percentage of the accidents in our roadways are caused because of people who are intoxicated, just like this lady, Miss Louisa. She got ran over. And by the way, who was it that this person got arrested? I'm going to try to find out who this is. Because the other thing is that I think we need to know is I don't mind having a wall of shame for drunk drivers. Who I'm hoping the person got charged. So Lavana says, good morning. I was at the hospital that night when they brought her and her husband in the emergency area. I was there with my dad. What a harrowing experience. My goodness. Diamond Princess says, to be honest, plenty of these drivers do not want to stop at the crossing for persons crossing the road. Well, they're going to be less likely to stop if they're drunk. They're not even paying attention. Remember the one lawyer guy, the Australian lawyer who was trying to sue every media house in Cayman because he was nothing but a driving drunk and he'd been in multiple car accidents. And in fact, the most interesting thing about him is he already had another vehicular case before the courts. And in the judgment where he mowed this, again, crosswalk, coming from the Ritz after sitting there for hours drinking champagne all day, well drunk, and comes out his speeding Mustang or whatever he was driving, I think it was a Mustang, mowed this couple down, and then had the audacity after he served his jail time, left the jurisdiction. His name, in case y'all want to remember it, is let me tell you what this jackass's name is. Simon Christopher Courtney, corporate lawyer, used to work at one of the law firms here. And the sad thing about these people is they go out drinking. They can afford a taxi. They can afford a driver. They can afford to call someone who is sober. But once you start drinking and you got keys in your hand, your judgment is beyond impaired. So yes, this guy quite extraordinarily almost killed. I mean, the people suffered extreme damage, almost dead. And then, he had this attitude about it. And he's actually spent years now trying to hide the truth from people. Because I guess when people Google his name, it comes up. And he's doing his best to try to hide this. Maybe he's trying to find a job back in Australia. I don't know. He even tried to add us to it because we did a little story on where he was. See him there going to jail. I was like, what the heck? Trying to sue media for covering a story on you because you were drunk and mowed people down. So just absolutely disgusting. Real piece of work here. There's his wife, his supportive wife, walking to court with him. I know one thing, it wouldn't have been me, honey jail. So he had a champagne brunch at the Ritz-Carlton. He was drunk at the time. But again, because he fled the scene and remained missing until the early hours of the next morning, by the time they actually were able to test him, of course, they couldn't tell what his blood alcohol level would have been at the time of the accident. Let me say a few things about this. Number one, if you flee the scene of an accident, we need to ensure that is immediate jail time. Not only immediate jail time, but can I just go one step further? You know how in law, you guys might have heard me talking about this before. There is a presumption. There's certain presumptions that are allowed, right? One of the presumptions is that when you are being interviewed by the police, if you know something that could, exonerate you, say you have an alibi, you have some sort of, story that would exonerate you, or you can tell them something, you have eyewitness, you got something, and you refuse to tell the police or you refuse to answer any questions, your silence, because you do have a right to remain silent, but your silence can can actually work against you. So you go to court and all of a sudden you're like, well, I didn't remember it at the time, but I was actually at home with my wife and I've got her as an eyewitness. So your refusal, it's called an adverse inference, right? Your refusal to give a statement can actually work against you, because then they're like, well, why wouldn't you just told that to the police? Why wouldn't, you're supposed to help yourself, help your own defense. If you know something that could be useful, then you're supposed to provide that information. So this concept of an adverse, what do they call it? Adverse, what's the proper legal term? Did I just say it and I've already forgotten it? Adverse inference, my apologies, yes. This concept of adverse inference from your silence, right, I think needs to go one step further. This was introduced in Cayman law because it's very common in a lot of other jurisdictions. So I believe that this was introduced back in, I can't remember how long it's been, but I know that it was maybe back in 2010. Yes. So yes, back in September 2010. So so here's the thing, right? I would go a step further with sort of the same concept of adverse inference, but an adverse, I guess you could say inference as well, that if you leave the scene of a crime, there will be a presumption that you were intoxicated. Why else you leave the scene of a crime? Now, I know some people say, oh, but Sandy, you get scared and you don't know how to react and you don't know what to do and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. Maybe, but you better stay put. Because you adversely impact an investigation. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Give me 1 second here. All right. So yes, I think that we also need to start thinking very, very strongly about having that type of legislative change, considered as well. You leave the scene of an accident, there's a presumption that you were drunk. If you're not drunk, stay in the scene of the accident and do a breathalyzer. I wouldn't have any issues whatsoever with, my apologies, I'm trying to fix my ice pack. I would not have any issues whatsoever with being forced. Of course, y'all gonna say, well, Sandy, that's because you don't drink. Well, that's true. So I don't ever have to worry about blowing and blowing positive, right? But even if I were a drinker, I would want to know, am I over the limit? I don't want to get pulled over and or hit somebody and kill someone or make poor driving decisions and so forth. Now, Ms. Darlene was talking about this black box thing in the UK, right? I don't know too much about that. But what I would say is the technology is there in a lot of newer cars that do allow some sort of a control over the driver's habits. So, honey child, we know exactly who the driver is too. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be naming him today. I don't know where he's from, but he's going to get blazed up this morning. Oh, what a drunk. So, So yes, so I don't know much about that black box, but I do know that there's a number of modern vehicles that allow you to have similar features because it's all computerized, right? So for example, Tesla vehicles, and there's probably other brands, but Tesla is really known for like the tech stuff in their vehicles, and other cars can do it. They can put all kind of other stuff that's a bunch of frills and nonsense that you don't really need in your car. But they have an option where, say, for example, you have a Tesla and you've got teenagers who are learning how to drive or young persons, and they're under your insurance. And, parents, y'all got to think about this too, because if a lot of young people are making really, really poor decisions when they're driving, you can limit the speed limit that car goes to. So you can say, I don't want this car to go over 35 miles an hour. Yeah. So it is what it is. You set it and that's it. It doesn't go over 35 miles an hour. There are other cars that actually have the ability to see if you're not focusing on the road. The Mercedes cars, I know, do that now, the newer ones. And they will actually tell you, because they have all these road correction and road assist features where when you're driving, They try to like correct you if they see you veering off. They'll try to stop you. They try to brake for you. They beep if you're getting too close to someone. They don't see you braking. They do all sorts of things. And they actually have a thing now that monitors your eye focus. And if it sees that you're like looking down on your phone or you're looking around and you're not really focused at what's in front of you, it actually disables like certain features in the car. And it'll tell you, this has been disabled because you're just not paying attention. We need you to pay attention. Isn't that crazy? But my point is, the technology is evolving in cars where soon you wouldn't even need a separate black box. These are features that will kind of come just like your seatbelt. Every single modern day car that is made comes with a seatbelt. So these are features, that will roll out. But a lot of us are importing these old Japanese cars that are not necessarily going to have any of these newer features yet. It's going to take a minute for maybe that to get caught up. But, there are things that our government, in my opinion, needs to be focused on and needs to be doing. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you today?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm bothered with a pain in my back for the last couple of days. But
oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
just like you with your feet.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gonna say to you, did you try like soaking them and then rub in warm water and then rubbing them with Voltaren?
Well, I did mention that I do use a Voltaren rub and other types of rubs as well. And the Epsom foot soak also is beneficial. So it's a number of things that I have to do, my dear. I wish there was just one thing that I could say, yeah, that's the magic bullet, but it tends to be more than one thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah,
another thing I wanted to say to you, with that lady, I didn't catch all that what had happened or anything, just about this accident and being an emergency. But and this morning would be a good time for her to call in on OC show, because the governor and the premier both are going to be there at 9:00 on OC show. And I don't know now if that would be the proper thing, but they need to know, or if she don't know or the premier don't know, they need to know what these insurances is getting away with. To be honest with you, but if it were me, that's what I would do.
Okay,
really, because she's a visitor to this island.
Well, I guess she wants to come where the majority of people are actually going to be listening and paying attention. I mean, I hate to tell you, but I don't care who's on the radio came in. They might only have 25 people over there regardless.
Yeah. That is pretty true too. Well, where everybody can hear what is what, So I just thought it would be an idea, but I'm sorry to hear about that poor lady. I can't imagine, her suffering that she's going through and things like that. But not all of us are like, not all of us are drinking and driving. Mind you, had some tourists down here, like the ones that you had that wrecked your place and whatnot too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, the thing about it, I mean, in this instance, she's a visitor, she's a tourist, but I didn't really want that to even be the focus. I know she said a few things that people were like, oh, well, why doesn't she have her own insurance? And she said, oh, it's not fair for them to pay it. Like, why would she have that kind of attitude? I saw some of the comments, and so I want to make it very, very clear. the vast majority of people who are impacted by this are local people or Caymanians who live here every single day, who are, having to suffer because of poor drivers, drunk drivers, irresponsible drivers, the whole 9 yards. So let's take the tourism and the foreign person element. I know she was saying, like tourists may not come to Cayman if they know that these are laws. I doubt that that's going to make one bit of a difference because, like I said, it's a numbers game. Most of them come here and they leave here perfectly fine. We've got over 1 million, almost 1 million up to 2023 September that have come off of cruise ships alone, and 99.9% of them leave here alive and well, and they're perfectly fine. And the other percentage that don't leave here alive and well, they're dying from drowning accidents and water-related things because, the little ticker wasn't working too well, and they thought they could come here and swim a mile or go scuba diving when they've never been scuba diving in their lives. So,
exactly.
That isn't the focus. There's a lot of Caymanians. The other day, we had this young man from West Bay. The Grant young boy. I can't remember his first name now, but he was killed. His life was taken by a guy who was drinking and driving in this country. And now his children that he has left behind will have a completely different quality of life because of what happened. And because there's no insurance coverage. Oh yeah, well, he was drinking too. So, we're not gonna cover him. And he barely gets a slap on the wrist in terms of jail time from the courts. So there's a lot of changes that have to happen around this issue. And I think if we're going to take it seriously, and if it means that we have to look at how it's impacting our community, then we need to take it seriously. Children are being left fatherless, motherless, because of people driving around here drunk as a skunk and not caring about, who they're killing on the roadways.
Exactly.
So
but
I feel
let's see
very
what
strongly like we've not addressed this and we haven't done enough. And for the record, let me also say this, because this is a point that is definitely worth mentioning. Tiz just mentioned we made one step in the right direction in the sense that our legislators have recently increased the limit, like that you're over, right? And what I find particularly interesting about this, and this might be a shocker to a lot of people, is in order to even get there, do you know how difficult that was? Because the majority, listen, I'm going to tell you all a little inside nugget now. The majority of our legislators, and this is the same reason why they won't tackle anything like gambling and a lot of other crime, right? Is they were sitting down going, well, a lot of my constituents drink and drive. I gotta lose votes if I push for this. Our legislators who are getting paid a handsome sum are not willing to make decisions that are not popular because they are more concerned about the votes they may or may not get. Can you believe it?
That's right. More concerned about that X.
No, sir. All right, my dear. Thank you so much.
I thank you, Sandra. Good show as usual.
Thank you so much. And it's just, John says facts. I mean, I'm telling y'all, this is just absolutely ridiculous. I could not believe that there would be anyone who did not see the benefits of putting that legal limit, more in line with what's accepted. Because by the time your point, whatever the heck it is now, you're already well sauced up. You're already impaired. You're already making poor decisions. And so it was a hard sell, for the previous premier to even go to his cabinet to say, we need to advocate for this. Well, I live in North Side and everybody out here want to drink and drive home, happy hour on a Friday. Really? So until we adjust our attitudes and we have a no nonsense, listen, there's certain things in life that you just can't be fooling around with. Now, I said I don't drink. If you drink, I don't care. I don't have any problems with you drinking. I would hope that none of you are abusing anything, including alcohol, because it is a drug. It really is you hear what the physicians are now telling you. They're starting to tell you the truth about alcohol and your health. They're like, there is no safe limit. There's no, just one glass a day and I get health benefits from it. No, you don't. Even one glass a day will have a negative impact on your health. But if you choose to drink, by all, good God, make sure you do it in extreme moderation. Don't binge drink. Don't get sauced up every single weekend. Don't, sometimes people just have to tell you the truth. Now, whether you want to take the truth on board or believe the truth is a whole other matter. But, folks, let me just be very, very clear. It is my opinion, and Kevin, I'm trying to, why is this? It's not allowing me to do a split screen on this one. I don't know if it's because I'm pulling yours in. Hold on. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Hold on. So, it's my opinion, folks, that at the end of the day, we've got some tough choices, yes, that we have to make. And one of the tough choices that we have to make is, as a community, we need to start saying this is nonsense, and we're going to take a very strong approach against this. There should be no excuses for drinking and driving. None. Zero tolerance. And so if you drink and drive and you have a DUI, should you have, this is one of our questions here on the poll questions today, should you actually have one of these devices put in your cars? Because already you have demonstrated that you have really poor judgment on your own. So Rough C says, good luck. Good luck making me spend any money on a gizmo that would probably inconvenience my life. Nope. Why? But why is it going to inconvenience your life? Because if you're not drinking and driving, if you're not driving poorly, erratically, how does it inconvenience your life? Folks, we got some polls up on the screen. Please take out your phones now. You can scan them or you can go to the website. I'll put the link in the comment section as well. You can also, Kevin, just send me the link. You can vote directly by link. Just go and have a vote. So the first question is, should insurance companies have to cover third parties even for DUIs? And I can tell you, when I look around, this is the case in the UK and it is the case in the United States of America. What they will do is, if you are caught with a DUI and you've injured third parties, they're going to cover the third party, but they're not going to cover you. To me, that seems to be the fair compromise here. Insurance companies should not have the option of, ignoring a innocent person's claim or injuries because their person that they have covered have decided, and this is part of the risk that you take, and maybe what insurance companies need to do is start to vet people a little bit better. And then they wouldn't take on high-risk drivers either. Good morning, caller.
Hello. Good morning, Sandra. How are you today, ma'am?
Not too bad, dear. How are you?
I'm all right. A little bit high blood pressure from the standpoint that me try and drive out East End.
Oh, Lord.
Try and drive through Barton Town, right there by the caves. Lady in front of me driving the speed limit. I'm right behind her.
Okay.
Some fools in a white van overtaking. Had the with oncoming traffic, mind you. Had the option to pull in between the two of us. Instead, they decide to push forward about 2.5 times over the speed limit. Run a lady coming from East End off the road. Keep on going. Yeah. Now, this is not an uncommon occurrence that I witnessed, because I have to travel the length and breadth of this island at least once a day.
Oh, my God.
Right? I get up around the corner as soon as I hit into the 50 mile an hour, and I know that bastard. If I'm allowed to use that word on air, whatever.
Yeah, I think that one might be okay.
Well, I know that bastard was going at least twice the speed limit. I know them police that were coming right around after I leave that turned that corner after the 50 mile an hour zone, saw that bastard traveling at a high rate of speed, and they just keep on their way. Right? Okay. So me personally, Sandra, I'm gonna tell you right now, I would not be able to blame anybody who finally have enough of it, because my natural instinct was to chase that bastard down, chase that bastard down, run him off the road, and deal with him. Okay? Because that's the kind of anarchy we're dealing with here in Cayman. Right?
My God.
Right? So if you ask me how I'm feeling, I'm just letting you know.
Yes, well, I understand.
Yes, ma'am. As it pertains to the subject matter that you were discussing earlier with that lady who went through a horrible experience, I just want to say that me as a Caymanian, I just want to apologize to her for the unfair treatment that she received by the insurance companies, and also the rudeness that she was confronted with by that police officer, whoever that police officer was.
Yes. Boy,
And if we're going to look at the root cause matters of the problems that we have here in Cayman, specifically as it pertains to the insurance issue that lady unjustly had to suffer through, look directly to the fact that we have the inculcation of private industry, private sector having far too much power and influence over decision-making processes in these here Cayman Islands. Now, I want to tell you this. We are talking about a cabal. We are talking about damn near a cartel of insurance companies. And as it pertains to those laws, we do not have a transparent system which is going to show who are the members of the Legislative Assembly or the Parliament a direct financial interest in that company or any other insurance company making a hefty profit year over year above and beyond the well-being and the interests of the Cayman Islands, her people, expatriates, and or our visitors. Right? We do not have that transparency. So then we do not have a system that has any check and balance, which is going to be able to forthrightly put forward and identify the people who have conflict of interest at the highest levels.
Yes. And sometimes, unfortunately, caller, the conflict of interest may not be obvious. So it's not going to show up if they properly declare all their interests, but they're in the back pocket of people who own these companies, who are involved in these companies, all sorts of foolishness.
Exactly. But that right there is a problem, is a causative factor that has to be identified for the issue that it is. I appreciate the opportunity to do that. Moving forward, ma'am. Me personally, I think that there's a lot of people on the road who do not deserve, as I wrote to you, who do not deserve to be on a child's tricycle tied to a post in a padded room, regardless of whether or not they had a whole bottle of rum or not.
That's right. That's true.
Okay, there's a lot of people here who do not know how to drive. And there's a lot of people here who seem to have come from some place where Mad Max is the people who teach them how to drive. Right? I don't agree with the whole DOI level. But you know what? Okay, I can accept that as it making sense because of the overage of issues we have in this regard. My suggestion would be this. Let us look forward to supplying very simple device that allows a person on their own private self to blow into and know whether or not they're actually above and beyond the legal limit to drive in Cayman.
But let me say,
States should be, they do it to folks in the States who are recidivists with DUI.
Right.
I'll listen to what you're going to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's optional, though, how many people do you think would actually do it? Nobody who, listen, I might do it because I know it's never going to be a problem. But the people who need it the most are the ones who are not going to do it if it's optional. I think if you get at least one DUI.
I know the product exists, Sandra. I've seen somebody on Shark Tank who invented a damn thing that attaches to your phone.
Yeah, well, I think if you had at least one DUI, that should be mandatory.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, trust me, I'm not no angel with this stuff. Right? I'm no angel with it. But that is one simple thing that could be done. Help facilitate it for the rental cars too. Because from what I could tell, and I'm not driving on the road a video, but that was a tourist vehicle driven by somebody renting the car for their business. That was actually the individual who overtook and created that situation that could have ended in a death here this morning. I think that was a rental vehicle. I'm not sure. Can't say for sure. Anyway, one more thing before I go. I just want to point out how ridiculous things are in here, Cayman. All right, right across the road from where Mr. Panton's offices are there in Newlands, yeah? Okay, there's a hole, and if you're headed east, on the right-hand side, that road that leads out of Mr. Panton's office, okay? There is a hole in the divider cones, the divider sticks. Yet still right before that, there is a sign that says do not turn. So we literally have a road with a sign that says do not turn, but some genius has decided to remove the thing to allow people to turn into it.
Oh, this is like if you're like people be trying to cut across and go to Wendy's.
Yeah, that is correct. Instead of just
Yes.
continuing on,
And it's
rocking around.
Yes, and it's confusing. I'm gonna be honest with you because the first time I saw it, I'm like, "Oh, was it moved to allow us to turn there?" I
It's
couldn't.
asinine.
Yeah,
It's
no.
ridiculous. It's ludicrous.
Yep.
It's dumb. I mean, what do these people want? Who the people who are in power and authority here? They literally got a sign that says "Do not turn," but yet still they open up a hole for people to turn. Now, you can in a realm of cognitive sanity, can you tell me how in the hell something like that makes sense?
Yep.
The answer is no.
All right, you on a roll this morning?
One for day now. You got my little run out of it.
Honey Chow. Appreciate it. Listen, we're here. We're here for you. If it helps to control the blood pressure, then call us and rant and rave, because I was wondering the same thing. It took me a second there to figure out. I was like, hold on. It's like, oh yes. And I thought to myself, the first time I saw, I'm like, did they remove it because now I can turn there? But then it's too risky of a turn. I'm like, who in their right mind would take that turn? Because, you know, people coming straight down from the eastern side and they will slam right into you. So it's a bad area for people to even think about turning, but I'm confused about why the cones are not there. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra.
Hello, honey. How are you?
I have an answer for you.
Oh, yes. With which problem?
with that turning there in Savannah.
Oh, yes. Okay. Explain it to me. How does it make sense?
I'm not sure if it was on your show or if it was on OC's show, but basically there was, actually I think it was OC's show, and there was a day where NRA was on there.
Okay.
And that's why I couldn't remember, because I know you always do an expose on there for NRA as well. But the long and short of it is, that is not to make a right turn and going east. That is to make a right turn going west. In that, unfortunately, all members of the public who live east of that post office typically checks their mail at that post office. So someone called and lobbied the NRA when they were on the radio and said, listen, when we're coming from east, we have to go up the road and find some way to do a U-turn. So can you please remove some of these barriers so we can turn right into the post office? It is not for people going east to turn to go to Wendy's, but we have, and this is actually perpetuated by the police, quite frankly, and I say it without fear of successful contradiction, because they are just as lazy as the rest of our road goers, or a lot of our road goers, in not using indicators at roundabouts, at traffic junctions, and what have you. I can't begin to tell you how many times I witnessed this, and I felt so bad when I heard the doctor that was struck by the vehicle saying how she was treated. They seriously lack bedside manner, the police officers. But back to that point.
Amongst other things, but yes.
Well, there's a laundry list, but I'm just going to go with the basics. Yes. But the fact is, it's to facilitate those who use the post office in Savannah who are coming from east, which is why it was done. And unfortunately, people are just so lazy; they just can't go right up the road. And I'm talking about those who turn right when they're going east. They want to go into Wendy's. They just got to go up a couple of yards more, make the right turn, and it's even for their safety. So it's NRA did not factor in access for the post office in that regard. So as a result, that's what was the compromise that was done. But I again, it all comes back down to enforcement. You know that thing where you give an inch and take a yard? Well, what's happened is that everybody is so desensitized that literally it's the Wild West out there on the roads. It's a reason I have a lifted pickup truck, because I have a car as well, but I drive that pickup truck 99.99% of the times. Because if you want to plow into me, well, I'm elevated. You can plow into me. So, but I mean, I say that in jest, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, don't tempt them now, because you know they're crazy. But yeah, this is very interesting. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And let me just say too that, unfortunately, I'm sure it must have felt like that. I know it would have felt like that to me, but that driver was not doing no 50, 60 miles an hour when he struck those people, because they wouldn't be here talking about it today. A car at 10 miles an hour can kill a pedestrian.
Absolutely.
That's just the reality. But my 2 cents on the DUI side of things is immediately there is no court that, like, you can do. There is freedom, but there is no court. When a legal certified lab brings back a toxicology report of saying DUI, we can save ourselves a lot of time, money, and effort that can be put towards a fund that would take care of, people such as that, where they are automatically convicted once the blood alcohol level is shown to be over and above. It saves the court's time. There's no ambiguity. It's all there. Move along. You're guilty. There's no explanation because you've been warned. And unfortunately, back to the whole politicians, they're not going to put that into law because they want the votes. Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, caller. Really appreciate it.
Kaboom!
Both callers deserve the kaboom, but thank you so much. I tell you what, folks, it's astonishing to me how, again, we're electing politicians who are in a popularity contest. I mean, we need to elect politicians with a little bit of gumption. And sometimes, yes, it's not the popular decision, but it is the right decision. And that is what we need to focus on. What on earth? Unbelievable. So I've got a good contact at the NRA who has confirmed some of what that caller said, but it's actually the Postal Service that was complaining. So this person says, yes, there's a lot of agreement that needs to be closed, but the Postal Service is complaining that the opening is needed for their customers to gain access. It's a long, protracted history with this one, and they're still trying to get it resolved. Apparently, there might be some negotiations going on with Countryside for some sort of an internal driveway access to the post office through Countryside. And to me, that would actually make a whole lot of sense. So Countryside, step up to the plate, help your country, because again, this is just one of those absolutely ridiculous moves that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'm surprised that it's the Postal Service who's claiming people coming from the east. Listen to me, honey child. Let me be very, very clear. If you have to go east, you have to come from the east. At some point, you got to go east, right? Just remember to pull in when you're going up, not when you're coming down. What is wrong with that? Can we not adjust our lives just a little bit to be safer on the roadway? It's like the whole thing with Grand Harbor. The people coming out of Grand Harbor up in arms, we don't want to have to, every single day I go through Grand Harbor, I have to say an extra 5 prayers. I need my rosary beads for Grand Harbor, because you're literally taking your life and safety in the hands of everybody at that intersection, because too many cars coming and flowing in different directions. And let's be honest, roundabouts confuse people. So go up and come back down. What's the big deal? 2 seconds could possibly save your life. And by the way, I don't know what the NRA board ever decided. We haven't heard on what they decided to do with that intersection. But I can tell you that the voters were 50-50 split on it from the poll that we took. We should probably do another poll. But they were 50-50 split on it. 50% said, yes, let's close it off. Where you don't allow people coming out of Grand Harbor to basically cross over 3 lanes of traffic right in a roundabout to make that first turn. Good morning, caller.
Sandra.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
All right, listen, man.
Yes.
I appreciate that gentleman calling in, but that it still don't make any sense. First of all, if somebody's coming out of that side road, leaving right in front of Mr. Ponton's member of parliament offices, they're on and entering into there. First of all, that is a horrible place to try to enter into eastern bound traffic.
You understand? Okay? And listen to me.
That don't make no sense. The whole post office thing that don't make any sense at all, because the post office is back down to the west of there. And if you're pulling out, coming off of that side road at Wendy's, your only choice is to go right. And all you got to do, if you live down there and you want to go to the post office in Savannah, all you got to do is take a left, drive down the road, and then you pull in there.
Yeah.
But I don't understand the gentleman's.
No,
he sounds like a sensible man. So, but his explanation is not making any sense now at all.
I'm telling you, this the facts now. It's the post office who's claiming they need that entrance available for customers coming from the Eastern District.
Can't pull out.
But hold on. Let me ask you a question.
You can't pull out Wendy's there and head back to the west.
It don't make no sense. Right? But let me ask you this question. How many people
you have to go east if you're going to go through that little slot they left between the sticks on the road?
But let me ask you.
So that don't make a lick of sense.
But caller, talk about when I'm making a lick of sense. This is now where we need empirical information. I keep talking about the necessity to have data drive our decisions. Data-driven decisions are important. How many people you think use that post office?
Sandra, it still don't make no lick of sense.
No, but let's ask the question. Because I'm understanding it's only like 1 or 2 people a day that would even be accessing and doing that. That does not make any sense.
It doesn't impact anybody coming from Savannah or that side road, Sandra, trying to get to the Savannah post office. Where I am describing is that side road, which is to the east.
Someone asking if you had any apple cider vinegar.
Traffic there and go west through that little side piece. You can't do it.
Caller, someone's asking if you had any apple cider vinegar today.
Tell them I pull a piss and vinegar from morning.
All right, I want to call Savannah Post Office.
Honestly, all you gotta do is look at it and you can see what I'm trying to say.
No. I'm in total agreement with you. They need to close it. Thank you, caller.
All right, have wonderful day.
All right, honey. Yeah, he didn't take his blood pressure medication this morning. I tell you what. All right, let me call Savannah Post Office because I even want to know, I'm told it's like 1 or 2 people. Listen, the data is there, because traffic management, they do monitor. We've got another call. They do monitor, some of the access to the traffic flow and stuff like that. So I'm being told it's like 1 or 2 persons per day. Actually, they're checking mail coming from the Eastern Districts anyway. This is nonsensical. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Hi, morning.
How are you?
Not bad. How you doing? Happy Friday.
Okay. Happy Friday, and it's happy 1st of December.
Yes. Whew, we made it through. Hopefully no late storms, but yes, very thankful.
I believe that we're entering the period of the first cold fronts.
Yes.
Anyway, Sandra, I just want to say, I don't know if you remember this or not, that once you had Minister J.E. Banks on your show, and I called him while he was there, and I spoke to him about that same stretch of the Savannah Road. And I'm one of those people that have been asking to have that thing changed from the time the new post office was built. This is no criticism on the minister at the time that built the post office. But this is a fine example of what I call cut and patch. It was done with no foresight, no wisdom at all. First of all, the post office is built wrong. It's facing the wrong direction. You don't have an entrance to that post office. Anybody coming east can't turn into the post office unless you do an illegal turn. That's not fair to people who pay rental at that post office. I use that post office. That's where my post box is. I shouldn't have to drive halfway down to Georgetown to find a roundabout to turn back to face east so that I can turn in there. Now, I understand that when they wanted to try to work something out with Countryside, that was refused. Well, Countryside then should not have been permitted to be built until they decided that they would share some access with that post office. It is a fatality waiting to happen. I am surprised it hasn't taken place yet. I go out there to check my box. Once upon a time, I could pick a time that there wasn't much traffic, but that's no longer the case. Any time of the day, any day of the week, even on a Sunday, the traffic is a mile long and you have to wait. So my heart is in my mouth every time I need to go to the post office for whatever reason I need to go there. And it's not 1, 2 people using that post office a day. That post office is quite busy, but it's also very dangerous trying to get in there. It's not so bad coming out because you come around and then you can get into the left lane. But it's not fair to those of us who have post boxes there. We pay the rental every month, and then you got to pray to God that you can live to get back home. And I just want to pick up on something you said. To a person that goes to Georgetown every day and coming back east, yes, that's perfect for them because, as you say, they can say, okay, I'll check it on my way up. But what happened to people who don't have to do that? What happened to people who are retired? They're only going to check their box. And also, just to add about Countryside, there was a time that they have when you go down there by that Chinese restaurant, there was a gate that was open, so you could actually park in Countryside, walk through the gate, check your box, and walk back over. Now they've locked that gate off. I don't know why. See, these are the things I feel our governments need to flex their muscles with and say to them, we need some help here. Help us, or here's what we're going to do.
Well,
But
I don't know that they can force Countryside. A private shopping plaza has to maintain some control over what happens in their plaza as well. But
government
I
also has the
I
right
think
to what
anybody.
do they call it? Take when government needs property, what's that word it's called? Um, when the government needs property to do something, and they say to the owner, "We need this. We're gonna."
Well,
offer you
I
this
doubt government was
anyway.
proposing to buy it, but
No. I'm not
I
saying to
do.
buy, but you can ask for access. It is possible, and it would not cause any more burden on Countryside. It could actually save some lives. But just to bring you up to speed, I did speak with Minister Jay about it twice since I spoke to him on your show. And he told me that they had drawn up a new plan, and NRA or whomever does the approvals and stuff. So something else was pointed out to them about it, which I think was the entrance to the MLA office out there or one of those places. So they decided to adjust the plan to include that so that they wouldn't have to go back and do something again. So he told me they were actually working on it and they pretty much come up with a final plan of what they're going to do. I'm really hoping and praying that I don't have to sit and watch the next election come and that road is still there. Because I've been living in Savannah now for 30 years and I've been dealing with that for 30 years. So, and I've been asking from the time the new post office was built, I've been asking, this is where public input should be listened to. And if they would flex their muscles and do the right things, they might be surprised to know how much people would support them. And remember, if you're running in a community, listen to what the people are asking for. Listen to what the people need. That's how you get votes and you keep votes.
Anyway, all right. Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Be safe.
All right. So Rough Seas says, wouldn't an easier solution be to just put the permanent cones back there? I mean, that's the question, I suppose. Looks like we might have more than one poll question here going on today. But anyway, Perla says, I did suggest before if some areas like schools or hospital zones, if they should put speed bumps there, it's safer and slows down drivers, but I'm not sure if anyone agrees. I know I would. Sandra Coe, good morning, Sandra, says, if you live in Newlands, all you have to do is turn right on Agouti and then left on Shamrock, and then there you go, problem solved. Which one is Agouti again? But I mean, even if you live in Newlands, you can still come down. You don't have to go in the bypass. You can still come down. I mean, I don't know. Everybody who's lived in the Eastern Districts has to pass the post office on the main road unless you just take the bypass. I mean, that's not where my post office box is. But I am curious to know, and I'm going to try to find out if we can get some usage stats actually from NRA for that particular location. So let's call, let me see here now. We'll call the post office because I am curious to know how many postal boxes are even there. I try not to go to the post office, not at all, if I'm being completely honest.
Morning, Airport Post Office.
Good morning. What's the number for the Savannah post office?
947.
947.
1518.
1518. Actually, you might be able to answer this question for me. I could save myself a phone call. Do you know how many postal boxes there are at the Savannah post office?
I will have to hold on.
Okay, thanks. All right. Let's see. The road behind Foster's is Agouti. How do you get to Agouti? I'd have to drive it. All right, folks, don't forget, vote in the poll. Scan the barcode. I'm going to vote now. So I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to vote. So all you do, open up your camera on your phone. There we go. And then you scan it. And it shows you a little yellow thing. See it there? I don't know if you guys can see it. See that little yellow thing that comes up? It's only when you can see the barcode. So in your camera, it'll open that up. You click on that. Click on that little yellow thing, and then it takes you to the poll. See? Takes you right to the poll, and then you can vote. So the first question is current. So should insurance companies have to cover third parties even for DUIs? I'm going to say yes and send in my vote. So far, 100% of the people have said yes. Get the poll numbers up, though, because you know they're going to say, oh, only 10 people voted. All right, where's the next question, Kevin? So the next question is, it took me to the next question. Should repeat DUI offenders be required to blow into device each time before driving? I think that should be a condition. Yes, if you've done it once, the chances of you doing it again are pretty high. So I'm going to say yes to that as well. And so far, 100% of the people have said yes to that. So go ahead and vote, folks.
2,737.
2,737?
That's what I was saying.
737. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so 2,000. I'm surprised it has that many. I didn't think it was that big. So they say they have 2,737 boxes. Why am I surprised that it's that big? Somebody said Savannah Post Office is not that busy. I don't know. I never go in there. Trust me, even the one 7 Mile Beach, not really that busy the few times that I do go, but I'm not a post office person. If you want to not reach me, send it in the post. That's the best way to not reach me, because I go once a year. My husband checks it a couple more times than that. But yeah, I don't go to the post office. I send everything electronically, sign up for electronic mail. Bills, send those electronically. I don't need you to print a bill. Even my bank statements, I tell them stop wasting paper and sending these paper statements. Okay, go ahead and vote, folks. You got 2 questions here. I've just registered my vote. So far, 100% say yes, repeat offenders should be required to blow into device each time they drive. Greg, good morning. So Greg says, I think that bars and restaurants should be held accountable for knowingly allowing their customers to leave their establishments drunk. You know, I feel like, is this not in law yet? But absolutely. I mean, it is the law everywhere else, Greg. And you know, the thing about it, it forces bars and restaurants to be responsible themselves. Because some of them just keep serving people when they know that, you know, people are just beyond sauced up, over the limit. Did I ever tell you about the time that I traveled to the US? And like I told y'all, I don't drink, but somebody that I was with was drinking and they actually cut her off. Oh, honey child, Greg, let me tell you. It was at Hops. Now, I don't even think Hops exists anymore, but there used to be one right off of, it's close off of US 1, which, you know, that's like Biscayne Boulevard, but it runs all the way down. But this was down by the falls. So there's a restaurant it used to be in like Florida, Miami, called Hops. And it was called Hops because in the middle of the restaurant, they had a big brewery and they brew their own beer. So they had like a whole brewing thing in the middle, right? They closed their doors, and as of 2014, they've closed their doors. I don't even know if I guess they might not be around anymore. But anyway, I used to love going to Hops because they had this amazing, they used to serve these little appetizers. They give you little free appetizers, but they were like croissants with a little sauce on them to die for. Other people, I guess, were in for the liquor, not me. So she was there. We went to Miami, and normally I'm very particular, especially after a trip like this. There's a reason why I don't really travel with people. Outside of my family, there's only like maybe 2 other people that I would really travel with to say, yes, we're traveling together, because I don't trust people. I'm not getting caught up in your hot mess of a situation. I don't want to hear anything about, you trying to smuggle drugs, and next thing you know, customs digging me up. I'm like, hell to the no. Nope. You got drugs hidden in the baby's diaper and I didn't know that. Oh no, honey child. And also, I'm just very funny when I shop. Like I ain't got no time to be waiting on you and you holding me up. Like I'm very focused now. So I go to Miami. It's like bam, bam, boom, boom. I do what I got to do. And if I want to go to a particular restaurant and relax, I do that. If I want to stay in the hotel and do nothing, I don't got the time to be trying to accommodate too many people when I travel. Anyway, having said that, I went with this young lady. I think she was a young mom. She had a bunch of kids, like a lot of kids. I don't know, 10 kids. Anyway, she needed to get some stuff. And I was like, I'll drive you around, whatever. Mm-hmm. So here I am in Miami, and we're at Hops, and, she starts drinking. Now, I think I did know that she could drink a lot because, she kind of drinks like a fish now that I'm thinking about it. Because one night we had a party. This is back in the day when I was at Maples. We actually had a party, and I refused to allow her to go home to her children being that drunk. I'm like, listen, I'm going to call the husband and say, honey, child, your wife not coming home tonight because she's had one too many. And I don't want young kids to ever see a parent like that. And you know what that leads to? The husband's going to be upset that you went to a staff party and you got this drunk. We actually got that. Maples was being told that they were going to get kicked out of the wharf because of this one person, her drunkenness. I think she might have had a little problem then with stress in her life causing her to overdrink, but that was just my opinion. So anyway, I took her home, made her sleep on my floor that night, and told the dog to leave her alone because I said, I don't, roll over because I don't want you're going to throw up, and I don't want you dying on your vomit because then, I don't want to have to call 911. And I was having to stop on the way home to let her. She produces a lot of saliva when she drinks, and she was having to spit and throw up and all kind of stuff on the way home. Oh Lord, how do I get myself in these situations trying to help people? Anyway, still, I was like, I don't want your kids to see you like this. This is not a good look. This is not what they should be growing up with. So we go to Miami. She starts drinking. And within the space of, we were there maybe 45 minutes. She must have ordered like 6 beers. So then the bartender said, she was guzzling them like they're water. Chug, 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 chug. And the bartender said, okay, we can't serve you anymore. And she's like, what? What do you mean you can't serve it? Here we go now, drunk people, What do you mean you can't serve me anymore? I'm not driving. I don't drive here. Let me show you my passport. I'm from the Cayman Islands. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm like, don't mention that you're from the Cayman Islands. You're embarrassing us right now. Pick some other country or somewhere else. Pretend like you're from somewhere else. The bartender cut off, the waitress cut off someone, and I was the driver. That is how much sense they have over there a little bit in the United States of America. He's like, no, this is the law. We're responsible. Only God knows what you might do once you leave here. So Greg, yes, they need to start taking some responsibility as well. But once again, in the name of corporate greed, they will serve you until you're falling off of a bar stool. And they will see you walking at the doors with keys in your hand, and they're going to let you leave. I told you all about these police officers the other day, right? At this whole, hot mess of a situation at the Airbnb. They were going to let a drunk woman standing by the side of the road with her suitcase in a private residential community. They were going to leave her there, and the vehicle, right? The Jeep that her and the drunk boyfriend arrived in was there with a key in the ignition. And I said, y'all must be crazy. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out 2 + 2 is going to be one hot calamity of a mess. I'm like, she's going to get behind the wheel of this car. She's drunk. She's impaired. She doesn't know this country. She's going to run into somebody else's fence or somebody's house, either kill herself or kill somebody else. And you know that when I stood up and tried to do the right thing, Greg and others, and I actually took and moved the vehicle, the same so-called armed unit officer sitting there telling me I shouldn't have done that, that was wrong of me to move the vehicle. And I said, well, what was the alternative? To leave her in the vehicle here and knowing exactly what was going to happen? Because now she's on her own. You guys finally hauled the boyfriend off and arrested him? I said, are you people kidding me? They were trying to make me feel bad. This is how jacked up our system is. I was like, are y'all serious right now? But you know me, honey child. I went and moved it, parked it in a safe place, and said, I left it there with a key in the ignition. Y'all need to do something with her. Take her wherever. And I called the car company and said, this is where your car is. Come and get it. Because he's drunk and he left it on private property. And I did you a courtesy of moving it. Our police officers saying, oh, that's not nice. You're not treating our guests very nice. Listen to me. I can see why we got so many problems in this country. And half of it is the people that we hire with no damn sense. And I hate to tell you, but a lot of them not even Caymanians. That's the most insulting part. I'm sitting here looking at these officers going, y'all really gonna make me show some colors tonight. You know, I don't like foolishness coming from anybody. But, you know, you have the privilege of being in this country and you're saying what to me? You're insulting me as though I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing the right thing. You guys are the ones who aren't using any common sense. Greg goes on to say, they should be able to take their keys from them and provide a taxi, or the government should allow public transportation to run later than normal hours. Well, you can call a taxi, folks. I know y'all keep complaining about, oh, the taxi is expensive. It's not expensive when you're talking about saving somebody's life. You can't put a price tag. I don't care if it's $50 for you to get home. What is that to take in an innocent man's life that has 2, 3, 4 Caymanian children, that now those children will not have the benefit of being able to grow up with their father? How do you compare that to a $50 taxi fee? Or how about this? Don't go out drinking if you can't handle yourself. And what you do instead is stay behind home and drink. If you really got to drink that bad and get that stupid when you drink, just stay home. Rough Seas says that restaurants make most of their money from wines and alcohol. I agree, but that does not mean that you need to compromise people's life and safety. Rough Seas also says that this would kill the restaurant and bar industry. If they made that a law, restaurant and bars will close down. Well, it didn't kill them in the United States of America, so I don't know, nobody drinks more than them. So I don't know how it would kill them in Cayman. We're just asking you to be responsible. You can drink, but do not get behind the wheel of a vehicle. That's it. Lavana says, sounds like I can travel with you because I'm the same way. Yes, honey child. I'm not traveling with nobody because they're not going to stand still. If they limit the amount of alcohol they sell, they would have to up the price of all the food. No one is saying, Rough Seas. Well, what we're saying is you have some responsibility not to let that person walk out the door drunk and driving. Now, if you're prepared to ensure that they don't drive, and you know what else would be good? Let me say this as well. Every single bar and restaurant, just like how we want to say every single public facility should have one of these, what's the thing called now? The heart. Kevin, help me out here. The AED devices, right? To save lives. You know what would really save some lives as well? Is if every single bar and restaurant, as you walking out the door, right by the door, gave you the option where you could blow into a breathalyzer in the restaurant. Imagine going out to your favorite bar and you're walking out the door, but like I said, it probably not gonna help much because there's a breathalyzer right there and you blow in it and a little bell goes off. Ding, 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 ding. We got a drunkard right here, folks. Step on up. And then the waitress says, oh my gosh, you had that many drinks? Or you're a lightweight? Hand me those keys, honey child. I'm going to call you a taxi. There is a new campaign that is launching. And the new campaign actually is about trying to eliminate the number of road fatalities by, is it 2032? I'll have to double check. Okay. And so I think this is a good goal But in order for us to get there, we need to really be serious. Nothing's going to change in 20, 32, 45, 46, 50, 3025 if we do not change the mindset of our people. If we do not implement some good common sense tools to help people. Nothing wrong with a breathalyzer. And those of you who continually drink and drive, right? The court takes your license away from you. You go out and the first thing you do is celebrate that you were in court today. And you out there drinking again and driving again, although you just had your license taken because now you're driving without a license. The second time somebody shows up to court with a DUI on a suspended license, this should not be a question of, oh, we're going to suspend it for a longer period of time. And no. You should be getting very, very familiar with something called a jail cell and warming that concrete bench in a jail cell next to whoever your jailmate is going to be. Make it mandatory that we start sending some of y'all to jail for DUI offenses. I bet you got to think about sobering up then. Because I know a lot of you suffer from alcoholism and you don't want to admit it. Rossi says, imagine if the nightclub was only allowed to sell you 2 drinks. Well, like I said, in the big United States of America, they cut off. And I want to say she must have had about 5 drinks in 45 minutes, 5 or 6. It was a lot. They cut her off. Because you see, the alcohol and the liquor not even hit yet. She wasn't feeling it yet. I was like, oh, Lord, here we go again. I said, let me tell you something now. This not Cayman, this not me driving through South Sound where I can pause every couple seconds for you to open up the door and spit out the door. Or you feel like you're about to throw up. When I get on the interstate, there is no pausing. So you're going to want to be throwing up in the rental car. I can roll you right out the car. What a hot mess. Y'all need to do better. If you're going out drinking and you know what the end result will be, take a designated driver with you. I used to be the designated driver when I was in university. Yes, everybody used to use me. Come on out, Sandy. Let's go to Tracks in Ybor City. And I was like, okay, honey, yeah, let's go to Tracks in Ybor City. I'm like, what the heck is Tracks? That was a nightclub on Thursday nights. If you know Tracks, you know Tracks. If you don't, then oh well. That was Thursday nights. And Thursday nights was straight night because Tracks was not a straight bar. But Thursday nights was for straight people. So we used to go to Thursday nights. And I don't know even if they're still around. Are they still around? Oh, no, it says, here's a Facebook. Remembering Tracks in Ybor City. Aw, I'm starting to feel old now when you got to remember something from 1993. Oh, hey, child, they even got video. Waiting in line. Thursday night. See? Oh, my God, it's on YouTube. Somebody has a video waiting in line in Tracks on Thursday nights because Thursday nights was the drag show. So we also got a show. And Thursday nights was for the straight people. So we would all go on Thursday nights. Oh my gosh, oh my God, was this many people in line back then? I don't even remember. But I do know I was a designated driver. And so everybody else was permitted to drink. And I was just there having a little soda and some water and making sure nobody wasn't trying to spike anybody's drink either. Because that was a whole other situation. This is so funny. They actually have a video on YouTube from 1993. Tracks nightclub. It was very, very popular. Boy, those were the days, honey chill. Live music band and all. To be young and naive again. My goodness. Look at that. So I don't know when they closed down, but yeah, they were right there in Ybor City. They helped to revitalize Ybor City. Here it is on a Saturday night. Somebody else has a video from a Saturday night. I didn't really fool with Saturday nights too much because normally I was working the night shift on a Saturday night. But anyway, the point being that you can take a designated driver with you. I mean, y'all do have some sober friends, right? I mean, anybody got friends that could always be the designated driver that doesn't have to drink? I mean, like I said, that's, that was me, but I don't know. Y'all seem hard pressed to find anybody who's not going to be drinking as well. So Tracks makes a list of the bars that were. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Oh mess. Anyway, I wasn't a big nightclub person, but I was there because I'm like, hey, I want to make sure that my friends are going to get back safely back to the dorm room and stuff like that. And And that was back in Ybor City on 7th Avenue. Yes, sorry. Reminiscing here, folks. I'm reminiscing. So it later became Tracks and then Pleasure Dome. What a hot mess. That was the place back then, boy. Uh-huh. Okay, let's check on some other comments. Can you actually teach common sense, says Siobhan? I don't think so. You either have it or you don't. Well, you can teach logic, believe it or not, which is akin to common sense. So I'm going to say that it's possible, maybe. I don't know. Honey chill. Whoa, she must have been under a lot of stress within those 45 minutes of drinking. She went from intoxication fast too. No, sir. Yeah, she could chug them. And I think that is what had the person concerned, was how quickly she was drinking each. And these are hops used to put them in a pretty decent size mug, right? This wasn't a little small shot glass that they were trying to serve you. And so I think they were a bit surprised. The waitress was a bit surprised, and the bartender, at how quickly she was drinking it. So what a mess. Oh, I miss hops. Their little croissants were divine. All right. So let's keep it moving. Anybody else got a problem they want to call us about today? 936-2626. The phone lines are open. Let's see, who's this calling me this morning on my private number? Good morning, caller. I'm on air. Do you mean to call the radios? Yes, live. Okay. Okay, you have to call me later. Okay, bye-bye. All right, Pat says happy Cayman Thanksgiving. That's this Sunday. What on a cooking? I don't know. I don't feel like I'm cooking anything, but I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind. Ingrid says, what about the people who go and buy liquor at Reflections Liquor for Less and park on the main street, blocking the roads going to Pedro Castle? Say what? So they buy liquor at the liquor store and they park on the which main street? Pedro Road? Oh, hold on. I think I understand what you're saying. So they're blocking, but which main street are they blocking? They're not parking in the parking lot? Yeah, that parking lot is a little bit tight. And I notice when I drive by on a Friday or Saturday night, y'all be packing on the liquor sales. And so it's, boy, it'd be tight up in there. Rough Seas says it's not until the government figures out a flawless public transport system. Well, no public transport system is going to be flawless, first and foremost. So don't make that be an excuse for drinking and driving. Good morning, caller.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, it's Edward. I can't find your radio station. I mean, you were supposed to meet this morning. I have everything ready.
We were supposed to meet, but you never called me.
No, I never called, because that time when you had called me, I didn't think I should have said anything, and I really forgot until yesterday, and then I didn't have no credit, to be honest. No, I just get credit.
But you can't call me and say we were supposed to meet if I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah,
but I told you that we were going to have you on the show on Friday, which means that you're calling like how you're calling in now, and we put it all out there. But yes, sir. So we're gonna have to aim for next week, Friday.
No, what about Monday morning? If I record this and send it to you on a phone, that would be okay.
I mean, normally we like to be able to ask you questions, though. So this is what you do. We're live on radio right now. We need to sort out and get you on the path of how this works.
Tell you the truth, I didn't mean to call you on the radio, but I lost your number. I've been searching all night for that number.
All right. Well, listen, this is what you do now, right? You call me after the show today, and we're going to kind of walk through it and explain to you how it works and how we need to make it happen.
You just give me that number again then.
324. 324-1612.
324-1612.
12.
Well, thank you,
Yes.
ma'am.
All right, dear.
All right, bye.
Okay. All right. Let's call. Actually, this reminds me. Let's call Minister J. Ebanks this morning. He was actually trying to call us earlier, but his call had a lot of feedback on it. So let's give him a call and see if we can get a clear connection. Okay. Oh, yes. The two teachers fighting. We can talk a little bit about that. What a disgrace. All right, folks. Start voting. Hello. Good morning, Minister J. Ebanks. How are you?
Morning, ma'am. How are you?
Not too bad. So we were talking this morning about a number of things, including this sort of junction, I don't know where the cones are there in Savannah, that allow people to turn into the post office.
Correct. Okay.
So you're in charge of NRA?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
So
I mean,
I can
what do
speak
you
to
know
that
about
Savannah
this?
Junction. So
Yes.
we came up with a design a few months ago back to be able to deal with this whole situation with this junction and turning into the post office. I've heard one of the callers was correct. Yes, that we had a mutual agreement that we would come through from the countryside at one point. There seemed like there were some changes that happened in there with that. So we had to go back to the drawing board to redesign the whole intersection of that entrance to turn in there. But I can guarantee you that it is the design has been just about almost finished. There was a little tweak back to it again because what we wanted to do is not only to take care of the traffic flow turning into the post office, but as a transportation sector also, we wanted to be able to figure out how do we deal with all the individuals that are always just standing up on the roadside, the buses stopping right on the roadside to pick up everybody by the gas station.
Where that bus stop is, yeah.
Yeah. So we went back and we redesigned it all together now, whereas we come up with a newer design where would allow pedestrians to kind of be more in the center of the traffic island, then instead of congregating on the side, but actually be able to give a pull-off lane that buses can pull off without just stopping directly into the flow of traffic and creating a lane then to actually get into the post office. So
I mean,
it is
is there
something that is top
enough?
priority.
Can I just ask you a quick question? Is there enough space there for a pull-off lane in that area? Because it strikes me as that area is always kind of tight as it is.
By the post office?
Yes, just in that general coming into the gas station, coming up in Countryside. I know there's a bus stop there, but I don't even think it's a pull-off. You just kind of
Right.
yeah.
So there's going to have to be a little transition. If you're coming from town going east where that bus stop is by Cayman National Bank, there's going to have to be a section of that sidewalk that shifts over a little bit where we actually have a pull-off lane there so that the buses can stop there without disturbing the traffic. But then when you're going west, going back into town on the other side by Wendy's, there will have to be some widening that will have to be done there to accommodate an extra lane going in that section there.
Okay.
But I can tell you that it is top of the priority list for the Savannah area for us to do. It's been something that we've been working on with Mrs. Heather Bodden for quite some time, making the changes back and forth. She knows about, I don't think she has seen the last final drawing yet, but we'll be presenting the final drawing to her shortly so she can take a look at it also to be in agreement with it. And I know before Mr. Panton left, there was discussion that we had with him, telling him exactly what we were doing there. So we definitely just want to see if we can get this done at least in the first quarter of next year. I would have loved to get it done here in December time, but and we probably could have started it if we have continued on the first path that we're on.
Okay. So these constant changes, I mean, always mean that you have to go back to the drawing board. While we have you on the phone, speaking of going back to the drawing board, what has happened to the Grand Harbor roundabout situation? That's gone completely quiet. We haven't heard any movements on that.
So you're absolutely right, Sandy. It kind of went a little bit silent at the moment, but the works are still continuing to go. One of my biggest problems that I'm having right now, and I need to make that telephone calls over to them to give them a nod. And I spoke to the director just up to yesterday, asking him about this for him to make a call. Is that we still have a few poles that CUC has to move to be able to for us to get that lean sorted out, coming from the King's Roundabout all the way back to Grand Harbor, which cuts across countryside, so that we can put that extra lean in there. Once that is actually done, we can actually tie that back lean, which is called I think it's called watercolors. I think it's called in the back part of Hurley's there, where actually people would actually be able to come around. So I'm waiting on the response from the director today. Hopefully he can give me a time frame from CUC when they're going to be able to move these poles, and we can get back to doing that transition on that side of the road, and then that will be able to block off that section of that roundabout there.
So we're still looking to block it, then, is what you're saying. There's just a few things that need to be done.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Okay. All right, very good. We certainly appreciate you being willing to answer those few questions for us this morning.
No problem. Always happy to.
All right, my dear. Thanks, and have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, folks, that was Minister the Honorable J.E. Banks giving us a few little updates there. So the decision to block Grand Harbor still exists. They're going to just make some other tweaks to the area first before they actually do it. Good to know, because I think, the majority of people, and I know it was just the people kind of in that immediate area who are willing to take the chance, but those of us who have to use it, because it's not just the people who live in the immediate area who have to use that facility or that roundabout. Everybody has to use it. So everybody is at risk as far as I'm concerned. Road uses and road issues are not normally specific to just one, specific community or just the people who live in Grand Harbor. It impacts us all. Okay. Someone is, okay, let's answer some of your questions. So someone was inquiring about the fight situation, and let me answer this, I suppose, as much as I can say about it. This is now the teachers at the Joanna Clark Primary School, formerly known as Savannah Primary. So essentially, we had two male officers get in a fight, allegedly over something to do with a female, not male officers, male teachers, something to do with a female teacher. The female teacher has said it doesn't directly have anything to do with her. She's a happily married woman. I was like, okay, well, the article never really said that. So that's interesting that you would make those kind of comments. But regardless, it's a bit of an unusual situation because teachers fighting, like what? We wonder why the children might have a problem. We seem to be a very aggressive and angry society when you think about it. Listen, I don't care what the altercation was about. I don't care what the disagreement was about. What I care about is the poor example that you would have been setting for children. Oops, wrong one. Hold on, let me find the wrong image. They might be fighting too, but that's not the one. So my thing is this. Oh, that's so funny. That was a Freudian slip. Yes, they are fighting. By the way, as an aside, hold on. Somebody told me, and I need to fact check this, but you know what? Let me fact check it first. I'm gonna fact check it first and come back to y'all on this because this is interesting. Let me fact check it. All right, this one here, this is a situation now. My goodness, what a hot mess. Such a pretty girl. Oh my God, she's beautiful. Whew, that's that Caribbean beauty, honey chill. But these two guys apparently had some kind of an altercation. The staff and everybody else at school is saying it was something that, I don't know if somebody said something to her, somebody tried to, I don't know what's going on here. But what I do know is the guy here, David Hamill is his name, on the right-hand side. He is actually a former track athlete. Now he's a PE teacher. And then the other guy, the other gentleman in yellow, is a year 4 teacher. And so those of you who would have received this correspondence from Joanna Clark Primary School, which confused a lot of you, that said, oh, there was an incident, an unfortunate incident. And y'all were like, huh? Well, what's the unfortunate incident? And then nobody was able to tell you what the unfortunate incident was. It was very confusing. I'm not sure why that letter was even sent out, but nonetheless, it was. And so a lot of questions were being asked about, well, Sandy, what was this alleged incident? That's what they kept saying. There wasn't no alleged incident. There was actually an incident. Now, all the other details might be alleged, but there was definitely an incident that involved 2 male teachers, and basically they got in a fight. So it says that it's being investigated by the school's leadership with support from the Department of Education Services and the relevant authorities. The relevant authorities in this case undoubtedly would be the RCIPS. Ay. What a hot mess of a situation, folks. I don't care what they're fighting over or who they're fighting over or whatever. It's just sad that teachers at a primary school couldn't take whatever this disagreement was. Listen, they could have been fighting over who had access to the electric pencil sharpener, as far as I'm concerned. That's neither here nor there. Why wouldn't you take that to a private room? Take it to the principal's office, for God's sakes. Yeah? Just relax yourself, teachers. Take it off campus. That would have been much better and much more appreciated by everybody involved. Allowing children to see violence between 2 adult teachers in a school environment is just shocking and unbelievable. But that's what it is. That's exactly what happened. Hot mess. So, I hope they sort it out. I don't think anybody has been suspended yet. I guess their investigations continue until and if they draw some sort of conclusions. It is just, to me, quite unbelievable. They say that JCPS remains committed to fostering a positive environment for all its students and staff. Well, this would not fall into the category of being positive. That's all I'm going to say. This ain't positive by any stretch of the imagination. And I was also told, and again, this is, word on the street, as they say, the Mall Road, has said that the aggressor in this situation was the PE teacher, which is the fellow there on the right-hand side. And apparently he has a child with the young lady in the middle. What a mix-up. It did occur to me, and help me if y'all agree with this or not, but maybe y'all mixing too much of a situation here. The word on the street is he was not really nice to her in their relationship. There might have been reports. There might have been restraining orders. There might have been this, that, and the next thing. Then tell me something. What are you doing working at this school? Even the school administrator should have said, oh, no. This is a recipe for disaster. Let's ensure that, this isn't going to happen. So you put people at a school who are all mixed up in an entanglement, and you think that the entanglement might not flow over into hot mess of an entanglement? Boy, when we talk about common sense lacking, it really makes one wonder. So somebody says, I know y'all listening, says that she is actually the assistant of Mr. Hamill, the guy in the yellow, and she has a baby for the next guy. She has a child by him. What a mess. Lord Jesus, take the wheel. Take the whole bus. Take the school bus, please. Wow. It's too much. Y'all need to get it together. And then all of them apparently have children at the school. So they don't, it's bad. They don't have any respect for your kids, right? And they certainly don't have any respect for their own children who go to the school either. Ms. Della says they need to be fired and need to be sent back to their respective countries. Ms. Della, hear you now. Because you know the first question people are going to ask is who she for, who he for, who this one for. And so I understand that these people are supposed to be Caymanians and they've been working in the school system for a long time. So I'm not going back no generations. But I know the girl pretty enough to be a Caymanian. The two guys, I don't know. But I'm told that they probably came here. Maybe they're born here. I don't know where the parents from. But for all intents and purposes, honey child, they're Caymanian. So we're not going to know where to send them. We going to send them where? West Bay? Morning, caller. Hello, caller. Uh-oh. Honey child. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hot mess. Our own people acting out. So a lot of you yesterday, I do want to do a little bit of an update from yesterday's program as well. Good morning, caller.
Good morning again, Sandra. I hope more happen out of that and what had happened to that teacher that kicked that little boy. Which, if it was my child, she would still be looking for her teeth. And if I'd be arrested for it, it would be something worthwhile to do. So, you know, about the education department and this department, and this woman was just suspended and on paid leave. But yet they're paying some people in government $1,500 a month. Really?
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Is this a joke? The laws are not enforced here. And something serious gonna soon happen in this island if they don't start enforce them. I mean, we have some of the biggest police force it is in the whole of the Caribbean for a little island, and paying more. That's why they're rushing to get to the Cayman Islands. That's right. So anyway, I gonna wish you a good weekend.
Thank you, honey.
And be careful out there, because it is some fools calling themselves drivers on our road. So we have to look out for them.
It. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Good weekend.
Thank you. So you have to be the referee like Nick Cannon show, says Perla. What a hot mess. Who won the fight, says Rough Seas. Well, I heard that women had to go and part the fight. Can you imagine? Female teachers? No, sir. Now that is a bunch of nonsense. I know I wouldn't have been parting them. I would have been sitting right there looking at these two donkeys fighting, shaking my head. So somebody said David is a real Caymanian. Well, listen to me. Y'all need to really get over this thing thinking that Caymanians can't do no wrong. Yesterday's show, y'all were like, that woman can't be a Caymanian. Well, I mean, somebody sent me a picture of her mama Caymanian. They were telling me all the sus who's your family to and where they come from and this and next thing. They Caymanians. Come on now. Let's get the story straight. We have some bad Caymanians. Bad to the bone. See what this one say? That's her mama. Yes, she not got no behavior. And she got one sister that not got no behavior either. I saw the sister in the comment section, by the way, talking about, oh, people who mind other people's business, girl, try and hush. What you need to do is tell your sister to return this man's body to his family and stop being petty. That's what you need to do, instead of talking about people must mind their own business. If his family wants to come on the show and say what a Listen, yeah. Your sister is cheating on this man left, right, and center. And when he dies, she don't even want to do the right thing. It's not like she was in love with him. Let's try to make that pretty clear. Not by her actions, anyway. So what are you holding on to a dead man body for? That's just being spiteful. Oh, we got the whole sus on who the current side man is. And he had forgiven her before with another side man. Now she got a new one and bring the side man up in the house. Tell me he renting from some of y'all women lucky, now. You're really lucky that you get some donkeys to be riding. Poor them. That poor man. I feel sorry for him. But she So someone says Belinda's mom is she got a Brack connection, is so-and-so from Cayman Brack. She married to so-and-so Solomon. He's from Rock Hole. His mother was so-and-so from Rock Hole. They were living in Midland Acres and they moved to England. She came back before them, but they moved back here. As far as I know, she has a brother still living and working over there. Yep. That's it. Her mother worked at HSA for quite some time before going to the UK. These are Caymanians is the point. So somebody said, oh, I think her maternal grandmother from Jamaica. Listen to me. Try and hush. Y'all need to stop this. Yes, I have a grandfather from Jamaica too. Does that make me a Jamaican? Are y'all crazy? No. That makes me a Caymanian. And if I'm no good and I'm bad to the bone, still a Caymanian. You know, we can't be like, well, if they're not no good, they can't be a Caymanian. Y'all better start checking that court list every week. And see all the Caymanians that be on that list. Then you'll know. Johan. If I fight in a manner, woman, I know you gotta be crazy. I know Tracy. I hear Zeus barking. I don't know what he barking at. Poor him. I don't know. Where's Stacy? What Stacy say? He was looking at her? He probably maybe wanted to go outside. I don't know what he's barking at. All right. Gabby says, ain't that spouse to be legal mixing? What? Spouse to be illegal mixing. Pleasure at business and sounds fishy to how all can be working at the same place. I mean, you know, a lot of workplaces discourage fraternizing for the same reason. They discourage people having relations with each other because y'all can't be mature about it and you be taking it in the classroom or in the business place of business. Here we're El Race. Yeah, can't send them back. None of them. They ours. Yep. A hot mess. So definitely disgusting behavior given the fact that they are in a school environment. Very, very sad. Miss Brenda says something serious has happened to these little islands. Talk about the pirates are coming. Newsflash, they're already here and have taken over. Well, I gotta be honest with you, Miss Brenda, it's nothing new. Let us be honest. And I think that this is sometimes, you know, I'm relatively young, so I don't have all the historical details of everything, but I have heard enough stories to know that this idea that Caymanians can be bad people wouldn't be anything that's new. Caymanians been cheating on each other, fornicating on each other, doing the most for a very long time. That's not new. You know how many Caymanians don't know who they are? They don't know who their mama is? Well, no. Let me back that up. Most of y'all know who your mama is, but you might not know who your dad is. Yes. All the time. So, you know, it's really nothing new. No, sir. Hey, child. Oh my gosh. Let's just be honest. Y'all been killing each other, stabbing up each other over man, fighting over man for donkey years. As long as man has existed, man and woman, there's been these kind of problems with some of our people. So, you know, it is what it is. All right, let me see here now. So the polls are live and active. Please go and have a read of the polls. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
You're gonna have to deal with me one more time after this.
What you say? Are people such good people that when they do something wrong, nobody can't believe it? They're like,
Let me tell you something about
what you mean?
stereotyping, Sandra. Let me tell you something about stereotyping. Stereotyping anybody is the act of an ignoramus. Quality of character of an individual and or the lack thereof never has and never will have anything to do with their religion, with their flesh, with their nationality.
Exactly.
Personally, I don't care if this trio of nitwits come out of the back of beyond the Timbuktu, just the New York City, or Shanghai, China. It don't matter where they come from. We're talking about little children exposed to ghettofied pimps and hoes, crapola. We're talking about them having other children out of other marriages. This baby mama drama that came on society has been turned to where any concept and understanding about a family unit. I see Johan there talking about all kind of crap. Oh, don't give him no hard time about marriage and all of this. Man, listen to me, man. Okay, man, look, you got these people fighting and beating down each other, Jerry Springer style, in front of the wee little children. The only thing those people deserve is to get their asses booted out of their job.
Just remember your son radio, honey chill. You sound like you won't call in after 10:30, but not 10:30 yet.
That's all, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if it don't happen, that's just another strike against the BS that Cayman is all about.
Yeah.
In the Cayman today. One more thing, Sandra. Look at the place over there that I was trying to discuss to you earlier. Across the road from Mr. Wayne Patton's thing.
I gotta go by after the show today and have a look.
Do with the post office. It doesn't.
I'm gonna go and have a look. But apparently it was the post office that was kicking up a fuss about, is what I'm told. But I'm gonna go and have a look because
Sandra, anybody pulling out of there on the road going back to the west has no choice but to go headed towards the east. And the actual post office, as far as I can tell, is to the west of that. There are no sticks in the road diverting, keeping traffic in line. And another thing, I heard Mr. J speaking on that issue there with the buses, the minibuses that are constantly sticking their butts out in traffic, creating potential crashes day in and day out. We shouldn't be giving these people a way to facilitate them. No, they need to figure out that if they want to pick up folks, and them folks need to figure out how to go around the backside there and get picked up instead of every doggone day creating the potential for car wrecks. Because what happens? Those two lanes, everybody coming up behind them, they have to swerve into traffic into the right lane, and the people coming up on the right lane behind them, they have to stop, they have to swerve. Okay?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. You just got to tell them people, them minibus drivers and the rest of them, no, you can't stop there anymore like that. You're obstructing traffic. As far as I know, that's illegal. Instead of bowing to these people, tell them shift their butt off the main roadway.
Yep.
I agree.
I appreciate it. Folks, I mean, I can't disagree with anything. As a matter of fact, he needs a kaboom. I can't disagree with anything that he said this morning. But they're all Caymanians, folks. Blackberry says, I don't know about the woman, but the two men are Caymanians. I don't know why that's even important, because Caymanians commit crime too. Awful crimes at times too. WTF. Yeah, I don't know. Like we're living in la land where we like to pretend that Caymanians are not capable of some of the most heinous things in the world. Like I said, y'all need to look at the cause list more often, and you need to go see who filmed up the prisons. Mostly Caymanians. Gabby says, I know David from high school when we were on the national track team. I'm still in disbelief. Well, I don't know David, but I hear David might have a little bit of a testosterone problem. Like he likes to beat people up. So I don't know. He might want to calm down a little bit. He's no longer running track and field. This is the real world now, David. And your actions have consequences, including being charged with assault against another teacher. Lisa, was it Lisa that said she's in shock? Lizzie, sorry, Says, such a sad situation. Mr. Bennett is such a great teacher. It's a sad situation all the way around. And by the way, the young lady is a Caymanian. That's actually Miss Andine's daughter. Miss Andine had twins. Carly, I think is her name. And so that's her really beautiful daughter. I mean, she's absolutely gorgeous. What a beauty. But that ain't, once again, that ain't got nothing to do with it. If y'all causing distress and havoc, but she's saying that she ain't got nothing to do with it. She's saying she's innocent. She don't know what they're fighting about. They shouldn't be fighting over her because she's supposed to be a happily married woman. Get it together, teachers. In particular, you two male teachers, get it together. Our children don't need to see you arguing and fighting and fussing and carrying on like a bunch of hoodlums. And that's the nicest word I can say before 10:30 in the mornings. Yeah, what a hot mess. So we did inquire. There's a rumor circulating. But in WhatsApp, they be killing themselves laughing. They're like, Sandy, you cracks me up. Somebody said to me, I said, you ever thought about being a comedian because you're so funny? I said, no, honey child. That would not be a paying job for me. So somebody was, I said before 10:30. Someone was asking me yesterday about, go vote in the polls. Y'all being lazy this morning. Someone was asking me yesterday about whether or not, oh, hold on. Is it a different code for each question, Kevin? I'm trying to figure this one out. So someone was asking me yesterday about whether or not there was this rumor of a body a decomposed female body having been found in East End. Well, we asked the police. They haven't said anything as yet. So I can't tell you if it's true or not. I can only tell you that the rumor is there. And the source is reliable-ish, if I can put it that way. I can't tell you the source, but let's just say that they're connected to, the system in a way. But we like to ask the police. They've not yet responded. That's interesting. Now, some of you were asking about some Spanish lady that had gone missing. I can tell you that she was found safe and she's fine. So it's not her. I don't know who it could possibly be. I mean, I don't know. And I wasn't quite, I'm like, decomposed. What form of decomposition are we talking about here? I don't know if anybody recently that's gone missing. So we wait. A rumor like this, I just throw it out there because maybe other people may have heard something. People, Brenda says it's not a rumor. It was on the news this morning. Which news? Because the RCIPS hasn't said anything. Well, there you go. I mean, like I said, we put it out there as a rumor. We tell you it's a rumor. But, until the police say something, we can't say it's anything official. And I don't actually see anything on their press releases. So who would have confirmed it to any other news source and the police hasn't responded? I don't know. Yes, I don't know. Ms. Brenda says, terminate them. Ultimate bad behavior. Terminate them. This is why your children are suffering. Learned behavior is powerful. So Radio Cayman said it. So did they get a response from the RCAPS and we didn't? Wouldn't be the first, honey child, but that's okay. We still had it up first, even as rumor. Yeah, we'll see. This would be quite an interesting puzzle because, like I said, I don't know of any women that have been reported missing unless somebody didn't report them. They didn't want them found. I don't know who else this could be. We have had women gone missing, but it's not anything too recent. So I'll put my tentacles out there. What part of East End exactly? Was it back road in the bush is what somebody said to me. That could be anywhere in East End, honey child. There's a lot of bush in East End, so I'm not sure exactly what that means. But if we can find out more, I will certainly let you guys know. All right, so we're going to put up the poll question on the Facebook, the social media and stuff a little bit later on. Continue to vote because it's very, 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 very interesting. So Ms. Brenda says Radio Cayman News has said that human remains were found in East End. All right. Well, I don't know. Like I said, RCIPS hasn't responded to her email. Although I noticed I haven't gotten an email from yesterday from anybody. So maybe I shouldn't really blame the RCIPS. I got to check out my email situation. Hold on a second here now. Let me go check my webmail. Let me have a quick look. Somebody says, why haven't I gotten an email from yesterday? This is a bit strange. Okay. Anything in junk mail folder? There's tons of stuff in junk mail folder, but nothing since yesterday. Trash today. Why is all this stuff going to trash? Wait a minute. I've received tons of emails today, but they're all going to trash. What? Whoa. What's going on? Oh boy. Let me see here now. Something's going on with emails. Interesting. Okay. It looks like I got a problem. Looks like I got a problem I got to solve because this is very bizarre. Why are they going to trash? I thought it was strange. I didn't have any emails. All right, let me check and see if the RCOPS responded. Today I've got that message. Today. Summary court. This, that, and the next thing. No. Misha, I see that you emailed me, but it went to trash as well. She just sent me a test message and it also went to trash. Why is it going to trash? All right, breaking news this morning. Sandra Day O'Connor, who's the first woman to have served on the United States Supreme Court, has passed away at the age of 93. To protect your privacy, remote sources have been blocked. What remote sources? All right, we got to figure this out. All right, folks, listen. We are rolling straight into the weekend. And I'm ready for it. I think it's going to be a good weekend. If you're having and celebrating your Cayman Thanksgiving, which you should, a lot of people worked very, very hard to make this possible. Please enjoy some nice time on Sunday. It's the first Sunday of every December. Enjoy some nice time with your family and friends. And let's be responsible. If you're going to be drinking, like I said, please do not drive. Arrange for a friend, a designated driver, a taxi, anything other than getting behind the wheel of a vehicle and causing, potential life-changing damage to other people. We'll be back on Monday morning, God's willing, with a whole slew of topics for you. Thank you so much. Really, thank you, Miss Dean. She says, that's a beautiful top. Love it. Thank you so much. So do enjoy. Ms. Brenda says AI is taking over. Child, I'm wondering. Do enjoy your weekend, folks. And we'll be back here early, 7:30 on Monday morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.